Welcome to Mic Drop, the podcast where relevancy is irrelevant and we don't give a shit about your feelings. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, it's both an honor and a pleasure to welcome my next guest to the podcast. He spent just under 17 years in the Navy, most of which as a Navy SEAL. 13 deployments, 53 collective awards, 2 of which were Silver Stars, 4 Bronze Stars with Vs, several JCOMs with Vs, several Navy Coms with Vs, 3 Presidential Unit citations. He is the RJO apparel owner, a former Fox News contributor. He's got soft hands and is one hell of a kisser. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Rob, the real deal Navy SEAL O'Neill.
Mike, it is about time we did this. I know we were trying to get in studio for a number of years now, but what it turns out is that Texas is like a big place. Every time I go to Texas, it's like, I can come up and it's like, oh, wait, it's a 9-hour drive.
Yeah,
but, I'm glad we got to do this.
Yeah, well, so halfway to San Diego from where I live is still in Texas.
Oh, that's true, isn't it? I've heard about that.
Yeah, El Paso is the halfway point. It's fucking still in Texas. It's crazy.
Yes. Hey, by the way, we were just talking about how nothing's ever been said. Soft hands, great kisser. No one's ever said that about me, let alone on an intro. So I really appreciate the kind words.
It's true.
Pretty good. I was in the Navy for a while. We get good at that shit, I guess.
Yeah. I know we're a little short on time. Typically, I have a thorough outline, which I still do, but it's abbreviated some, so I'm going to kind of condense everything I would normally do. What's your favorite condiment?
Mayonnaise.
Have you been asked that before on an interview?
No. So you already did that. I guess that's a wrap.
All right. Well, it's good having you. I appreciate it. What is the best, like, I killed Osama bin Laden story that you have, like, out in town, somebody that you met or that recognized you or whatever? Is there one that kind of stands out, kind of like the Rob Riggle thing of, like somebody?
Yeah, well, the Rob Riggle thing is awesome because that was pretty much the most accurate thing that happened. Because, we ended up, the only thing inaccurate about that was they were in San Diego. We were actually in Virginia Beach, and we went to the Ready Room, which is actually the bar near Dam Neck where Charlie Sheen got that fight and kissed the guy in the movies Navy SEALs, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But no, the best story that I have as far as that was I was in Las Vegas, and I have to name drop on this one because the story's funny. But I was there with Kid Rock. He's playing a show that night, and then I've got a speech the next day. And so he's getting ready for a show, and he said, "Do you want to go outside and smoke a cigar?" And I was like, "Yeah, cool." So we got in the elevator. And when he's Bob Ritchie, he doesn't, he's got a backwards hat and looks like a normal dude. Yeah. But when he's Kid Rock, he looks like fucking Kid Rock. Yeah. Like he's got the
70s pimp.
Dude, dope as shit. Yeah. So we get an elevator. I'm like this. I got a t-shirt, whatever. He's Kid Rock. This dude gets in the elevator and recognizes me. But he sort of knew the Bin Laden thing, but he knew me as my Instagram name. He goes, "Mikuya." And I said, "Yeah." And I'm kind of looking around, and he goes, "Oh my God, this is crazy. Will you take a picture with me?" And I go, "Do you mind if fucking Kid Rock takes it?" And he goes, the kid looks over, looks back at me, and goes, "What fucking elevator did I just walk into?" So that really stands out. And it's like, dude, Kid Rock is standing there, and you recognize my dumbass from Instagram.
Dude, that's fucking great, man. Did he take the picture?
Yeah.
Or did he get
it? He did.
Oh, shit.
He did to take the picture, and then we took a selfie to prove
that was him.
Yeah.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, I had to skip the concert, though. I had like a 6 a.m. speech. I'm not going out till 5 a.m. before speech.
Is is it something that you still get recognized like all the time for, or has that died down at all?
You know what? It's one of those things where, like if you can imagine, there are haters on the internet.
Yeah.
I'll get in the comments like some jackass will say, "Hi, I'm Rob O'Neill, and I haven't mentioned Bin Laden for the last 3 minutes, making fun of me," right? And I'm like, what do you think every fucking person I meet every fucking day asks me about? Everyone that recognizes me asks me the same fucking questions. And it's almost the point like, "Well, you didn't kill Bin Laden." I'm like, sometimes I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what happened, and now I can't get away from it. So, people do. But in person, everyone's been really cool.
Yeah.
Especially like in New York. Just people are awesome. Airports, people are funny because they want to have a drink, and so they like buy me a shot, but then someone else saw that person buy me a shot, so they want a shot.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wow, you 10 guys just had a shot. I had 10 shots. And,
I'm fucked
next
up.
thing you know, you get kicked off an airline.
Yeah. Well, that happened the last time you were on your way here, I think, to try to work this out, if I remember right. Right? Was that Delta?
Yeah, it was. There's been a few incidents, but
Talking like a
it's like
true Irish team guy.
yeah, but like I've flown millions of miles the past few years. You have 3 bad incidents. What's the big deal? It's
Yeah,
a pretty
it's a
good percentage as
percentage
far as
thing.
I.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
it's
true.
not bad. Especially say like with team guys, like well, a lot of places fly me first class. They're serving free booze to a Navy
Yeah,
SEAL. Not a good idea.
yeah. What do you expect? Do you get tired of it? Like, do you get tired of being asked a lot of the same shit, or is it just like, well, it's part of the gig?
Well,
And
it's part of the gig, and it's not really. Well, I mean, like I mentioned before, if someone's that gives me too much shit, it's the same questions a lot. I know the answers, but I do love meeting people face to face because that's they have their own experience both of 9/11 and where they were when they found out bin Laden was dead. And I love to share it with people, especially when I get the responses from people who lost someone in the Twin Towers.
yeah,
Never the same. Never the same story, never the same response. And I talked to someone, a woman that was talking to her husband, and she was telling him to get out of the towers, and it just went. He said, "I'm fine. It's the other tower," and then all of a sudden the phone goes dark, and that's the last time she heard from him. And she said to put a name with the face of this mission, stuff like that, and that doesn't get old at all.
yeah,
The only thing that really gets old seriously are the drinks,
yeah. That's another good problem to have, I guess.
and that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, no shit. Have you? I'm assuming you've been to the Freedom Tower and the spot
Yep.
in New York. Like, is there an element of gravity, I guess, that's hard to wrap your mind around going to that, like the full circleness of it
Well,
all?
the 9/11 museum memorial, I think everybody, not just Americans, but everyone who remembers 9/11 should go through, because I think we want to say it's 84 plus countries lost people in the towers, and it takes you through the day. It's not a happy place.
Yeah,
It's
it's
a
like the
chronological
Holocaust
walk.
Museum in D.C.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep. And you start off on like there's a I think and I'm paraphrasing, but there's a big photo right when you start. It's all in order. Right when you start, there's someone had set up a camera across the water, taking pictures every few minutes of the Twin Towers, and his project was something like some things never change or something like that. And he started on 9/11,
wow,
and all of a sudden the towers. He has a last known picture of it,
yeah,
and then you go through. You can hear the calls from people in the tower calling loved ones when they realize they're going to die, and all they want, and no one expressed hate. It was always love. I just want to tell you how much I love you. And it goes through Flight 93, that's the first Americans who fought Al Qaeda toe to toe, took a vote and fought Al Qaeda. You go through that whole thing, and then like there are some of the trucks are still there. A lot of artifacts are there. There's some parts of that exhibit that there are. I think trigger warnings are bullshit, but these are justified.
yeah,
If you turn this corner, you got to be ready. There's someone wrote, and you can see their blood on the note, 84th floor trapped, and he threw it.
wow,
And his family eventually got it because of the first responders that eventually found the forensics who it was. It takes it through it, and then it goes through. You know what? They just had an exhibit called "The Hunt for Bin Laden," which was temporary. So I had some. I actually had this. This was in there for a number of years. That's my body armor I wore on the mission.
yeah, that's awesome.
And like Cheese had Cairo stuff in there and some of his stuff, and then they took interviews of, I think there's maybe 8 of us that were on the mission and had different spots. You looked at it. They got rid of it. I don't know why. It was amazing. But then you go to the end, and I donated a shirt that was there and the American flag on my shoulder. And I never. This is before really anybody knew. Just like the tight circle of team guys kind of knew what happened. And I donated that anonymously. Like, I just want people to know this shirt was there. I don't want my name on any of that stuff. But it was then that I met the families of 9/11, and that's it's kind of like you need to tell people what happened.
Yeah,
Incredible place. Now the Freedom Tower, that's awesome, and you need to get to that after. I recommend that after you see the memorial, because there's an elevator that takes you to the top, and it's with the antenna. It's 1,776 feet tall, and the elevator up there, though, it's going fast, obviously, but they have a screen, and it looks like you're looking out on New York. But as you're going up, it has a timeline of what the year is, and it starts when New York started building, and so you're looking at it build up as you're going up.
wow, fuck, that's
And it
cool.
gets to like this. It's awesome, and you're right next to the towers. And from the 60s, it shows the towers, and then at 9/11, they're gone. And then you're up there, and then all of a sudden you get out, and there's you're on top of it's amazing. You're on top of New York, and you can see everything. And it gives you perspective of, we're at when it's all said and done, we're not going to be defeated.
Yeah.
And look at this great city. But it also gives you a moment of pause, like, someone looked down and made that decision.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
we'll
stuff.
never know.
Go ahead.
We'll never know what it was like inside the windows on the world.
Yeah.
Because when you look down and grab a stranger's hand, and the better alternative is jumping.
Yeah, I mean that's every year when those images get replayed and you kind of go back to that morning and think of that, it every year it never dwindles or becomes less emotional or wavers at all in terms of how that impacts me. I know, and it sounds like you, and I think a lot of people to think of what that must have been like to get to that fucking point,
and we'll never know. I mean, the closest you get is the phone calls, but
yeah,
there were people jumping one after another, and even there's a picture of people jumping that were holding hands, and if you sit there and just look at the picture, you wonder, now did these two know each other? Were they married? Are they brother and sister? Who are they?
Yeah,
and you see people, their last gesture of human decency was holding their dresses down so you couldn't see them as they fall 1,000 feet to their death. It's just it's crazy, and it's, I think it's important to, we mentioned trigger warnings a bit ago. This needs to be shown. They say, well, this upsets too many people. Bullshit. You need to see this.
Oh, agree.
And that's real. And you're seeing this. I mean, even right now with the situation in Ukraine, I kind of want to shake some of these pencil neck college students. Like, you still happy with communism? You fuckface. This is what communism.
Yeah. Well, that and for those that think, well, that could never happen. Like, it's happening right now. It's fucking happening. The things that you're saying that are justifying all of the bullshit mechanisms that you want to put in place here, that when people say, no, this is why you don't want to do that, and you say, well, that can't happen, it's happening. And you're seeing
it's happening right now. And we haven't, including 9/11, we haven't seen a war like this. We haven't since the 30s. The closest we had was when Saddam Hussein took Kuwait.
Yeah.
I can tell it's some shell shock to a lot of people. I mean, and I like to say, I say it in my new book, that it's a big planet, but it's a small world.
Yeah.
And I'm even seeing, and to give them credit, because I think social media should be taken tongue in cheek. There was a feminist that said something about World War III, and she said, "I'm going back in the kitchen. Fuck this.
I'm gonna go make some sandwiches."
Sense of humor.
Yeah, no shit. That's fucking great. So we'll get back into that stuff. Everybody's going to want to know, and we're going to launch this episode faster than a week, so that it's not super old. But I do like to ask, what is your? I just wanted to get some quick background. What's your daily routine look like? Your morning routine.
Morning routine. I'm a big believer that you need to get the fuck out of bed. Get up.
Early?
It's not I like to get up early. It depends on the night before, but I like to watch the sunrise. Get up and then we had this conversation with some friends, a couple of us, about the whole make your bed thing. I'm a big believer in make your bed the right way every morning. However, no one's really going to see it, so if you don't feel like it, fuck it. Not a big deal. I don't understand why the women put those 9 non-essential pillows on their.
They all do it.
Yeah, they do it, and no one sees them. And if someone sees that bed, what the fuck are you doing here?
No shit. Somebody is seeing them. Yeah, why are you seeing them?
No, but I tell you what, man. If you 50, I'm not one of those. We have those Navy SEALs that are the top 1%. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm not that guy that can get up and do it. But I'm a big believer in 15, 20 minutes of something. Do something.
Yeah.
If it's don't get me wrong. Get up and just crush a CrossFit workout, awesome. But if you don't feel like it, just doing something is better than not doing shit. It's going to make you feel better. Even if I love yoga or just stretching. Get to the gym. Get outside. I think people.
I mean, do you do something physical first thing when you first wake up for 15 or 20 minutes?
Yeah.
And so, like, even if it's stretching, push-ups, whatever, you just do something.
I like planks. I mean, if I can get to the gym, if I'm up in the Northeast like I am right now, the gym's quite a ways away, and it just fucking sucks. It's cold and icy. Like right now, it's ice rain.
Yeah.
So something indoors, like you can do burpees anywhere. You can hold a plank anywhere. So I like that shit. And I think it gets it going. And then, obviously coffee, you got to start with coffee. I actually work out after coffee.
Yeah.
And then, coffee's a whole, I'll drink coffee until about 6 p.m. and it's either scotch or water or both.
Yeah. Maybe a little mix.
But then, in general, I've been so busy lately. It's wake up, the cars here. So coffee, car, airport. I know some TSA agents and flight attendants by name.
Oh shit.
Then it's fly somewhere, and then when I get somewhere, it's either like I speak that night or I make an appearance that night or the next day. So then it's going to be room service, workout, room service, ambient, which I'm a huge fan of.
So you still take that shit all the time, huh?
Yeah, I do. I like it. I mean, it's you do build up an immunity to it. Like I'm good for maybe 2-3 hours on ambient.
Yeah, no shit. The speaking gigs, I'm curious in terms of the breadth and depth of the speeches that you give, topics to who. Is it just super wide variety, all sorts of different things, or is there kind of a few things that you cover?
It's a wide variety, and I target whichever business or whomever I'm speaking. But kind of the point of what I'm saying is that the traits that were common as Navy SEALs are traits that are common to success anywhere. And I don't know anyone that, hasn't done what they've done without a team. Like you usually have support. Granted, there are people that start from scratch and do it their own, but you usually have people with you. And I've always been a big believer in morale. Like if you can make sure your people want to come to work, they're going to work harder. And nobody wants to work for a dick. I make people write that down. Nobody wants to work for a fucking dick. Like some people get into power and they have immediate power and they want to abuse it. Prime example, take the gate guard.
Yeah.
The E2 gate guard. Hey, he has power over you. He can turn you the fuck around.
Yeah. Just
knock it off. But I had bosses that would say please and thank you.
No shit.
From SEAL Team 6. They didn't need to, but they did.
Yeah.
And then like when I fucked up, which is, well, everyone fucks up all the time, I think. Like you learn from mistakes. Instead of like coming at me with like you screwed up and yelling at you, because I'd be defensive and I'd fight back. He would just say, man, you're better than that, and leave.
Yeah.
Fuck.
No better way to make you feel like an asshole.
Yeah,
you're better than that.
but and also I tell people that don't believe that bullshit about going to war, no fear, no. It's like, come on, no. Yeah. Everyone's been afraid, and regardless of it's your first day in high school or it's your first day at the company and you become CEO, or your first day at boot camp and you end up in Bin Laden's bedroom. We all have our first day. Yeah. We've all been nervous, but time heals everything, and you will get used to it. Whatever it is, you'll get used to it, and also whatever it is, get over it. Don't hold a grudge. It's shit's weighing you down, bag of bricks.
Yeah.
So I kind of it's more emotional. Like when people say Buds is more mental than physical, that's kind of nonsense. But a lot of mental comes into it, and mentality is a lot. Mindset is everything. Keep your team happy. Effectively communicate with them. Because I've never been a big believer. Well, at some point of abuse of power would be like, well, like the cool shit in the movies. Well, I said need to know basis, and you don't need to know. Bullshit. Your people need to know what they're doing and why.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, if we're going to Bin Laden's place and you have a stealth bomber above me that I don't need to know about, fuck it. He's up there.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But make sure your people know what they're doing and why. So it's kind of like that. And then, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse, but I can always resort back to fun stories.
Yeah. Is there a most surprising group that has brought you in to have you speak to them that most people would not expect to bring you in and talk to them?
Yes, there was a.
And have you been asked that before? Is that
there was three? Have I been what?
Have you been asked that before? Is that a third?
No, I know I've sort of been asked that one, so we're gonna chop that one. But I got asked to speak to. There's a membership at the Red Cross, and it's something circle. I should have looked this up, but it's they're mostly nurses and they're high donors to the Red Cross, and it was basically an all-female event, and it was successful women. Some husbands were there, and it was just neat to talk to a group of women as opposed to these rah, let's go drink beer, but like people like first responders, nurses, but successful business people, and it was just really interesting to I opened for Trace Atkins. I was like, this is awesome.
Oh shit!
So that's like one of the most unique. Yeah. Pretty cool. He's a cool guy too.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds cool. I mean, so you just got up in front of the audience and talked for a little bit before he came out and played.
I got up and talked to them. Well, I kind of talked to, and they were having dinner, and then he played, and then it was like
I gotcha.
Like I said, there wasn't a lot of other husbands there, so it was just more of a watch a cool concert type shit. Yeah,
no, that's good shit.
But I've spoken to everybody. It's been surface finishing to power lines to hedge fund managers in New York. I've had dudes like 12 really successful dudes in New York that when I first started speaking, they're like, well, we got to hire somebody for tonight. They hit up one of the speaking agencies. Like, let me just hire this Navy SEAL. I guess he can probably make it there. And I did. So, you end up in a high rise in New York, or I've been shooting tanks on a ranch in Texas.
Yeah. Like fucking Texas.
Been,
What
Texas.
I know it's fucking nuts here. It's
Yeah.
its own thing. Is that, would you say, primarily what you do is speaking nowadays?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. That was going to be a part-time gig when I got out of the Navy, because I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know what I was capable of, because I don't have a degree. And
Oh, well, then
a
you
lot
can't
of
do
veterans
anything.
are like that too. That's what they tell you. But just the shit you learn in the military is the way you can communicate, the way you can. You know what veterans are good at is not all, but a lot of special operators are good at solving problems.
Yeah. The Bobs.
And
They're essentially the Bobs from Office Space.
That's it.
Efficiency
Yeah.
experts.
So yeah, but it turned into a I got one speech. I got out in August of 2012, so I got a speech August, September, and then like 2 in November. And then the way the speaking industry works is they don't really advertise it, but it's like word of mouth.
Yeah.
That if you're good, there's probably 3 people in the audience that have access to people that want to hire good speakers.
Yeah.
And so I got to a point where I gave, I think maybe 250 in a year.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was a lot. I mean, that's a lot of flying. That's a lot of getting burnt out in cars and stuff. It's
Are you usually doing like PowerPoint and all that, or did you just get up and fucking?
No. I use Apple Keynote, which is kind of like PowerPoint, but I don't. Nobody wants to be read to.
Yeah.
So I don't put words up there. I put pictures. My buddy McBee, Darren McBurnett McTeams, he's got a lot of pictures he took of SEAL training and skydiving, and I'd rather just have a picture, and then because I don't take notes either. I don't want to get up there with notes, because if you fuck up what you're saying, you're going to lose your place.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in, and just have a story related to something and a picture, because if I forget what I'm talking about, that'll remind me of something.
Yeah, like the Bin
and as a
Laden
public
dick pic.
speaker, the dick pic of Bin Laden. Yeah, I can talk about huge guys. But what you got to realize is you're probably the subject matter expert compared to the people listening. So if you forget what you're saying, just start talking about something that you know about, and it's gonna work itself out. And I learned that the hard way. I used to keep little notes over here, but you screw that up, and you watch people read. It's just boring.
Yeah, or that, or you say the same shit twice. You're like, oh wait, fuck, I already talked about
that's
that.
I've done that before, and I've wondered if have I told this story just now?
Yeah, no, I'm there with you. I don't do a ton of it. I do some, and yeah, I'm right there with you the same way. You're originally from Montana, right?
I am.
Where
Butte, Montana.
Butte, Montana. Can you talk just a little bit about your childhood and kind of overall what that experience was like?
That's Southwest Montana, and it's right on the Continental Divide, which is where the rivers decide to go east or west. It's kind of cool. We're right near the Three Forks, which is the Gallatin, Jefferson, Madison rivers. They turn into the Missouri, and then they go into the Mississippi down south. So I grew up there. Butte, Montana is it's like a bubble, like most small towns, where this is kind of the center of the universe, and I, almost a fear of failure. I don't want to leave town because it's scary out there, type shit. And but we got really good at hunting, elk hunting, awesome mountains, fly fishing, which is incredible.
Who was your biggest shooting influence growing up? Your dad?
My shooting?
Yeah,
my dad. But it's not because we kind of learned ballistics together. We didn't really. I mean, we started hunting the same reason I joined the Navy. We both got dumped by girls, so it's like, fuck, let's learn how to do something. So he went through his second divorce, and we went hunting in like a 4-door Subaru car with my uncle, and we had to borrow a rifle. We went after antelope, which is I think the fastest animal in North America. And we kind of just learned shooting. Our logic at first, because we played basketball. That's what we did. We didn't go out. Then we started going out like when I was in junior high, and we would shoot at milk cartons. And we figured if you could hit the milk carton on the handle, the gallon milk, you're going to hit the animal, which made sense. But like we're sighting in from like 85 yards. Like we don't know what's what. Like then we started studying the realization. And there's always the argument: is it 25 yards or do the 100 or 200? But we kind of got into it and learned how to read wind. I learned how to use wind as far as hunting animals. We got really good to the point where we were hunting a caribou in Alaska and stuff like that. We would get a bull elk every year. A lot of people don't get bulls, but a lot of people are lazy.
Yeah.
So you got to learn how to hunt them. Yeah. So that was he was a big influence. We would hunt all the time. He was awesome. It was the best time of the year. hunting season in Montana because it's just huge up there. You can get lucky with like a moose permit or a bear or we got a bighorn sheep one year, which is awesome. And then fly fishing, like even right now, it took me a couple of years being out of the teams to want to go camping because it's like, fuck that. I'm not sleeping outside ever again. It's like team guys will walk 5 miles out of the way just to not get their feet wet.
Yeah.
But like right now, standing in the middle of a river and not hearing shit, you don't have cell service, you just hear the water. And fly fishing is like I don't need to get a bite, just out there, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. But we did that, and then I was playing basketball. My goal was to play in college, which I started doing. But I was always thinking, I'm from Butte, Montana. Someone from Miami is going to be much better than me. Someone from Chicago, way better than me. Someone from New York, way tougher than me. But we're all cut from the same cloth, and that's what joining the military is awesome because you realize that.
Yeah. So growing up,
other than the top 1%ers, there's
well,
they're the dudes that'll smoke cigarettes all night and run a 5-minute mile. Fuck them.
That's right. Did you have siblings, and overall was the relationship? It sounds like with your dad was good. Mom, parents, etc. Was there anything about your childhood that you would say was abnormal or stood out as being different now that you look back on it? Informative.
No. The only thing that was abnormal is, and I learned this at Buds because I was for a while the fastest guy in the class on the runs because I grew up at 7,000 feet. I didn't know that was not normal. Because you're not. I mean, it's not that I'm fast; it's that I wasn't breathing air for 18 years. That was it. And it's like, well, because like when we would, my brother, I have an older brother, and he was an all-state cross-country runner. But he would go down to like San Francisco and run those races, the road races that crush people. Because he's still running a 5:45 for a 5K, but it's at altitude. And for some reason we didn't know why. It's like in Butte, Montana, they don't know nutrition.
Yeah.
Like the mayonnaise, that was my favorite condiment because I thought you put that on everything.
Yeah.
Eating Big Macs before a basketball game, we didn't know any better. We put gravy on shit, like everything.
That's Texas for you.
But I mean, it's just
Well, yeah. I mean, it's funny, just I say from a nutrition standpoint, like I know the shit that we thought was good and bad or not or whatever back then, and whether it's carb loading or just the shit that you put in your body. I mean, most kids ate bowls of cereal for breakfast, when we were kids.
Yeah, right.
And
you heard it was nutritious for you too.
Yeah, it's good for you. So you had an older brother, any sisters?
I have 2 sisters, one younger and one older. I actually work with one of them right now.
Really?
She kind of. I call her my chief of staff because she kind of runs. I don't. I'm a speaker. I make appearances. I have a clothing line, beer company, the book stuff, hot sauce. So she kind of keeps everything under one umbrella for me.
Yeah.
And then a younger sister who is probably the funniest person I've ever met. She's so funny. Like she and I would hang out in high school. We were both in high school at the same time, and like we go like to the coffee shop and smoke cigarettes. You could smoke inside because we nutrition.
Yeah.
And I came back. I've deployed a lot. I didn't see her for a full 2 years. Here's how funny she is. So this is my kind of family. Like I learned how to tell jokes from my brother and everyone. Morale. I walked 2 years. I hadn't been home, and as a young man, that's a lot, especially growing up in Butte, Montana. I walked in, and there's stories about my brother Tom in the new book, The Way Forward. But I walk in. He lived in a duplex by himself. And he's smoking this fat bowl. I walk in, I go, Tommy, what are you doing? And he looks at me and he goes, drugs. So I'm laughing at him, and I go over, give him a hug, and it's whatever. And then Kelly walks in. She's my best friend in the world. Hadn't seen me in 2 years. Doesn't say a word. She just kind of gives me a nod, announces to the room, somebody give me a beer and a smoke before I kick some fucking ass. It's like
that's your little sister talking about it.
My little sister. Yeah. She was 21 at the time, so that's
fucking great.
Well, we went to. I mean, okay, I'm not trying to justify her being 21. We went to. There was a place called the Chaparral in Butte, Montana. Shithole of a bar, but they had karaoke every night. And so I think Kelly might have been 17. I'm gonna sneak her in with my mom, my dad, and my older sister, my older brother. And we're walking in there. So Kelly's the only one that's not even an adult, let alone 21. And the bouncer goes to my parents and me. He's like, ID, ID, ID. Kelly, you're good. ID, ID. Like, fuck was that? How are you good?
Good relationship now with all your family members?
Yeah, they're all great. They're all good. Everyone's still kicking. They're all in Montana.
Yeah, that's good shit. All right, so it sounds like the inspiration for joining the Navy was you broke up with a chick, or she dumped you.
Yeah, she dumped me. I was playing basketball, so I was on my. The only time your plan works is when you're planning.
Yeah.
So my plan was go play basketball, hopefully get college paid for, and then get an MBA, and then work with my dad, be a broker. He was a broker in town, and I got dumped, and it was one of those things. It's like, fuck it, I'm over it. And I've seen this, saying that people are cut from the same cloth. I've seen this everywhere I've gone. Fredericksburg, Virginia. I've been at a bar where someone the age I was when I left said, I just got to get out of this place. And that's what I was saying to people like that. I just got to get out of this place. We all have that in common. At some point, we all said, fuck this, I got to get out.
Yeah.
So that was it. And I loved the movie Full Metal Jacket, and I thought it was just cool. I love the Marine Corps colors. I love their dress blues. Who doesn't? And I went to join the Marine Corps. I was like, fuck it. I've been shooting for a while. I want to be a sniper. I read Carlos Hathcock's book. And I went down to join. Right then, I want to leave. The quickest way out of Butte, Montana is to join. And I mean, literally exciting because like I can get on a bus and a plane. So I went to join, and the Marine wasn't in the office, but the Navy guy was.
Did you know about the SEALs?
No, I didn't, but I knew because I had two buddies, Ben and Jim, who were my sister's age, my older sister's age. Growing up, always wanted to be Marines, like always had high and tights. When they got to like 15, when you can drive, Marine Corps stickers all over their trucks. They came back and told me, it's a joke most people know, they said the Marine Corps is actually part of the Department of the Navy. It's just the men's department.
Except there's chick Marines.
Well,
everybody always says that. It's a fucking men's department's like, well, I don't know any female SEALs. I know a fuck ton of chick Marines.
That's very true. But soon, we're getting there.
Yeah, well.
Anyway, so their desks, their offices are right near each other, and because of that joke, I walked into the Navy guy, and he's got his khakis on. He's a Navy chief, and he asked me why I was there, and I said, "Well, Department of the Navy. When's the Marine get back? You'll know." And he said, "Why do you want that?" And I said, "I want to be a sniper." And he said, "Well, we have snipers here. You need to become a Navy SEAL, which is exciting, and then we'll send you to sniper school." Yeah. And he kind of brushed over that, and I signed.
God damn.
And I hadn't been doing a lot of swimming my whole life. We don't swim much in Montana.
Yeah.
But
so
I signed up, and that's where I learned, the mindset thing. Like, you're going to learn the hard way.
Yeah. How soon did you leave after you signed up? Was it immediate?
About 5 months. So
sure.
I still had my student. Because I went in there. I'm going to leave now, but then they sort of explained some shit. I'm like, okay,
quite that easy.
Let me get some shit in order, because I got to figure out how many pull-ups I could do, which is none. Yeah. I found out. No, I went down to the park, Clark's Park in Butte, Montana. I'm like, I'll just not, because you're supposed to do, I think it was 6 or 8 for the tests. I could maybe get up 1. I'm like, Jesus. So I built I had my stepdad build a pull-up bar in the house, and then I still had my student ID for Montana Tech, so I could get in there and get in the pool. And even with the pool, like, I could keep myself alive, but I didn't know how to swim.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there like an idiot. So I just figured out I couldn't do pull-ups. I'm looking down 25 yards back. I'll swim 1,000 and, gauge it from there. And everything was going fine with my plan until I got into the water. And then, I get down there. I'm at the deep end trying to get back. I'm like, I am exhausted.
Yeah.
Because there's no, swimming is technique, we know now.
Yeah.
And again, being lucky, my wife calls me the luckiest unlucky man in the world. Like, I could step into a pile of shit, but I'll find a diamond. So as luck would find it, a guy named Mike Driscoll from Butte, Montana was there. And he actually went on to swim at Notre Dame. And I went to high school with him. And he said, "Rob, don't take this the wrong way. It's great to see you, but I've never seen you in the pool before. What gives?" And I'm getting out of the pool, getting ready to shower. And I said, "I just joined the Navy. I'm going to be a SEAL." And he goes, "Not like that. You're not. Get the fuck back in." And then he showed me, like, he's the first one ever showed me the side stroke. Because he asked me, like, "What do you want to learn freestyle?" I'm like, "No, I need to know the side stroke or the breaststroke." He said, "Well, I'll show you both right now." And then he showed me that for a couple hours. And then I would just go up there every day. And I remember I still have my little Navy packet with that little warning order bullshit.
With
my
the, like,
20,
mint green
my
cover
2,500, 2,500 signing bonus. And I would keep my 500-yard swims in pen. I still have my times. They're horrible.
Yeah.
But I got down to where I could pass that not a PRT, but
the screening test.
Yeah. So I would do it there on the pool side, and that gave me some confidence. And I thought I was good. Then you get to buds where you got collegiate fucking water polo players and shit.
But it's amazing hearing you talk about that, and just thinking back to I was in a similar boat in terms of not really knowing other than the few things that were out, publicly about it, which wasn't a lot. The difference in information that kids have now signing up versus back when we did is not comparable, and it's like now kids get the cheat codes almost. It's like you need to be able to do this and you got to be able to do that. And, and it's like there is an element, I think, to going in there a little bit fucking blind that way in terms of the experience that gives you, that helps you in training and in the SEAL teams and what have you.
I couldn't agree more. And I think it's something about showing up scared shitless.
Yeah. And just saying, you know what, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. And because I was there and I thought the guys in third phase, I remember as I'm walking, I got my shitty ass dress whites on. And there's a dude that he was yelling at his buddy, from 618 or 602 when it was still there, about how, we just finished the swim. And I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about the 5.5 nautical mile swim. These guys are in third phase. They're gods.
Yeah.
And and you can get in the mindset where the loudmouths. Yeah. I didn't know they were going to quit first.
Yeah.
The only loudmouth that made it, he actually picked a fight with me, Sean Brennan. I love him now. He picked a fight with me my first day there because it turns out he's just I fucking love Sean Brennan with all my heart. It's great. I actually did a platoon with him. But yeah, getting in there and like the loudest mouths, as soon as you get to something scary, they're like, I'm seriously scared. It's like, well, if you're scared, and that's where the sympathetic, like you'll see guys quit and then other guys follow them because they think, well, if he can't make it, why can't I make it? That's bullshit. Yeah, don't make any friends till like Thursday of Hell Week.
Yeah, no, I mean, my closest friend in first phase quit, a day and not even a day into Hell Week. But for me, it actually did the opposite because when I joined, I was the same height I am now as 5'11". I was 145 pounds. And I remember seeing these guys like, dude, this dude's jacked. He played fucking college football. This guy's a fucking water polo, whatever. And then I'd see them quit, and I'm like, well, fuck, I'm still here. Like, well, fuck that guy then. Right. Like it just. See,
that's the realization that we're all cut from the same cloth. I mean, you do have your guys out there just destroying it, but the rest of us, I tell people not like the famous line, well, you don't look like a Navy SEAL. It's like, all right, but most Navy SEALs look like this. We just get it.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, even one of my best stories, I was with, so this is class 208. Dave Rutherford was in that class, and he was like he's like he is now, just
super
fired up all the time. And he was down there, and I'm the dude behind medical smoking a cigarette with the Singaporeans, right? So I'm blazing. We got a 4-mile time run. It's a Friday, and then that's it. And I'm ripping a heater, throw it down. I walk out there right next to, and we need to take our shirts off, and I'm obviously the great white man, just white as shit. I tell people like I could be on the cover of Decent Shape magazine. There's no abs, all that shit. And I look at Rutherford and I said, I'm going to fucking win this. I'm winning this race right now. And Rutherford said, O'Neill, if you win this race, drinks are on me all weekend. I'm like, fuck it. We're out there lined up. And the Buds things, how you run down and there's a truck 2 miles away to circle it. I'm like, fuck it. They hit the horn and I'm just sprinting. I'm running this, but we had some good hard pack sand. I'm hauling ass. And we turn around and I'm 500 yards in front of everyone because my dumb ass is just sprinting. I don't know any better. And that's kind of, the big Montana lungs. And I run it back and I can just hear Rutherford yelling, yeah. And we run past him. And I had some fast dudes behind me. Mark Miner, God rest his soul, fast as fuck. But we did, I got a chance I won that thing.
No shit.
And that's when it sort of sinks in. It's like, fuck this. I mean, mindset, a little bit of mindset. You can make your body do a lot of shit through your mind. If I've never heard anyone say, well, I was gonna quit, but my body pulled me through it. Bullshit. My mind said, fuck this, I'm going. And something with the Buds mindset, it is mental, but it's, can you talk yourself through the broken toe, through the shin splints, the fucking knees, the broken back, the shit. And that's the mindset. But like we said, the kids are getting ready for it more now, but that system still works, I think.
No, I agree.
I mean, even like, I went through the tandem bundle course in where we're at, near Marana, where we have professional skydivers actually teaching us how the canopy works, jumping tandem, all shit. They're teaching you how to skydive, how to use a canopy, as opposed to when SEALs were teaching it and you just auger in, like, they run out of the classroom with a Jack Daniels handle. Fuck you, you idiot. Like, well, you should teach people some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you suck. That's
you suck, jackass.
Like, how's this team, guys? A piece of shit.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, I think the preparedness thing is a double-edged sword, like we talked about, but I think one of the really cool and unique things about Buds, I think, is that, from a preparation standpoint, is that you know, the way that the training, to your point, that it still works is designed is that no matter how good of shape or how prepared you come, it's not going to be enough. Right.
No.
So you can't be in good enough shape. The catch is that the better shape you're in, the less you're going to have to rely on your mind to help talk you through it and pull it through. It's just going to be harder and suck worse. But so, you know, ultimately, like, the preparation is better. But if you look at the stats, like, there aren't any more guys getting through training now than there were then. And they're
they've tried
1,000 times more prepared, you know, but
they are more, they are. And the system, but again, you could be over prepared.
for sure,
Some of the advice I give to younger guys is whatever you're doing right now, do not run in boots.
Yeah.
You'll just get used to it when you get there.
Yeah.
Run in shoes, be smart about being stupid. You run in boots, you're going to crush your knees already. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And get better at pull-ups.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, and I'll run into some studs like college kids or maybe like seniors in high school. Well, how many can you do in a row? I can do 30. It's like, why can't you do 50 then? I've never heard anyone do too many pull-ups.
Yeah, no shit.
And a lot of the job is up and down. So get that shit going, man.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm right there with you. All right, so you graduate, Buds. Did you graduate 208?
Yep, I did 208.
And then what
that
team?
was 1996.
And what team did you go to first?
I went to SEAL Team 2 because I got good advice. Don't put down your teams in order. Put down your coasts in order.
Yeah.
So if you want to go to the East Coast, you put 2, 8, and 4.
Yeah.
You want to come out here? Back in the day, it was 3, 5, 1, 3, and 5.
Yeah.
And no matter what, unless you hate yourself, do not put SDV anywhere near that piece of paper.
No shit. So what made you pick the East Coast?
They were working. SEAL Team 2 was working in Bosnia. And I thought as a, at the young age of let's get to war because blah, 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 before I knew what war was. And that was the closest really anyone was to combat. So I'm like, well, SEAL Team 2 is kind of where it's at. Plus, winter warfare, really dig that shit. I love the ski. They go to Norway. They go to Europe. Heck yeah. So naturally, the first deployment I got to was on a Marg in the Mediterranean.
Yeah. Fucking amphibious readiness group sitting on a boat the whole fucking time, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many years were you at SEAL Team 2 for?
I was at 2 for 6 years, and then they switched. I forget what they called the switch, but they switched the teams around.
Yeah, the Force 21.
Yeah, Force 21. So I went to Team 4, which means all we did was go to a shittier building. Yeah. Same group of guys, same deployment. So I got the Team 4 shit behind me. I love Team 4. I love every team.
Yeah.
Obviously, SEAL Team 2 is the hardest one. We all know that.
Yeah.
But I went to 4. So I did a Marg amphib at 2. I did a Strike, which is a carrier at 2. I did a UCOM at 2, and then I did a UCOM at 4, and then that was post 9/11. So I went to screen for SEAL Team 6 in 2004.
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of that switch over, I mean, it's kind of understood, I would say, in the community by and large, with a few exceptions, is that most guys, if they're going to stay in, that's a pretty natural progression, is that most guys want to go there or think, that's kind of the next step. Was there anything to it other than that for you wanting to go there?
You know what? There was, because I was never going to be in for a career, and I was actually contemplating getting out. So I made PR1 back when we used to take the Navy test. God knows how I made that fucking thing. Yep. And I went to some sort of leadership course over at Demnick at the training center. And now I think this is post 9/11. So the Dev Group guys were now growing the beers. And I was at the exchange. I still to this day, I love a commissary. I love the Navy exchange. Fucking love them. Yeah. I'm in there getting whatever gidunk, which I love. Great word, as is shipmate. And I'm at a school, so a uniform, and there's this fucking dude with a beard, like typical Tivas and flip-flops, and he's mean mugging the fuck out of me because he can see my trident. And I'm like, that motherfucker's over at SEAL Team 6. And I literally thought, fuck him. I'm going to find out what that place is all about. So I re-enlisted and went there.
So you joined the Navy because a chick broke up with you, and you went to SEAL Team 6 because a dude with a beard ass-ized you.
I stayed. Yeah, I stayed at SEAL Team 2 because life's fast, and so I'm gonna join the Navy, not make it, go to sea, have some sea stories, go back to Maloney's in Butte, Montana, drink all day and tell stories. But I made it through SEAL training. Now I'm at SEAL Team 2, and that shit just flies by.
Yeah.
So now it's time to get out, but I'm like, these are the best guys I've ever met. I am not leaving. I'm young still. I'm realistic because we're having a blast at Virginia Beach. I love training everywhere. I get to shoot machine guns. We deploy to fucking Europe. I go to Lithuania. This is awesome. So I reenlist, and then it's some ass to give me the ass eyes, and it's like, fuck this, I'm going to SEAL Team 6. Seriously, that's how it went down. That's it.
Trip. That's a fucking
But
trip.
that's how life works. It
So-
was never a
So you're not an
never gonna be in
impulsive
the
guy then.
right. Yeah.
Have you all the time at SEAL Team 2? Did you ever go to Ukraine while you were there? Have you been there before?
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
shit.
I was in Odessa. I was actually just looking through my pictures because they just recently did an amphibious landing where we were training. I'm talking the Russians.
Yeah.
And I trained with we were training with their special forces. So they were Spetsnaz in the Russian army. And we trained with them as their Ukrainians. And boy, they fucking hated the Russians.
No shit.
We had a guy learning Russian as we're over there, and he's trying to speak to him. And they would speak to him, and they said, as long as you don't call this bullshit Russian, we're speaking Ukrainian, which is like they're all like, some of them, I don't speak them, but like Russian, Ukrainian, some of the Romance languages are similar, I guess.
Yeah. What was your impression of their capabilities when you trained with them?
There's some bad motherfuckers.
Yeah.
They are hard as woodpecker lips. These dudes are gonna, like right now, today I'm outside, I'm scraping ice off the fucking windshield. I'm like, God, this sucks. I'm like, well, at least, I'm not fighting the fucking Russians like they are right now. Yeah. And they're handing out guns right now. And I was, because some of those dudes I was working with were probably older than me. So they're pushing 50, 60 right now. I guarantee those hard motherfuckers are fighting. And I wouldn't want to fight these dudes. Like, they had just gotten basically done 6 years prior fighting in Afghanistan. And to me, that's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And like we would like exchange knives, and they would do shit like, yeah, there's many throats. I'm like, Jesus. I'd pull out like a pouch. This one's been to AP Hill. I don't know.
This is from the commissary. Check this out.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
We call this an MRE. This is beef stew. Hang on to the jalapeno cheese, motherfucker.
Dude,
but they were hardcore.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was Spartan living, but we're training.
Yeah.
And it was, you're cooking outside and hanging out, and they let you drive their tanks. They let you drink vodka and drive their tanks, which is fucking, I don't want to get all military, but that's fucking dope.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I mean, it's, times have changed so much in the American military. It's hard to even wrap your mind around some of the shit that I know, that I did, earlier on, or, in the late 90s, early 2000s, some of the things we did and the trips we went on and people we trained with compared to now, it's just not even the same, same gig. But we'll definitely get back into Ukraine, but just kind of moving down the chronological timeline. So you go screen at Team 6. Does the screening process surprise you in any way? Did you make it through the first pass? Was there, any big hiccups or hurdles that were unforeseen?
No, what surprised me was that's kind of the first time you get a deal with the cadre from SEAL Team 6. And they really take pride in what they do, and they're not going to tolerate a bunch of bullshit. It's like they're famous for CQB, the close quarters battle, where if you ever have a negligent discharge, you're fucking gone, never coming back. And how it was just a no bullshit. Like you have the PRT is like I forget it. It's like, oh shit, how long is it? 800 yard swim. No, that's a fucking long swim. It's a bench pressure weight 10 times, and then it's a run, like a 5-mile run. And it's like three evolutions, but hey, if you fuck up, you're out, and I don't care. I don't care if I know you from CP Shuckers. And then you kind of get to meet the senior enlisted, like during like the oral boards. And so a lot of the junior cadre were guys that had been there maybe 3 years at SEAL Team 6. So I kind of knew them from training before they went. But like the Master Chiefs that had been, like the Gold Team Master Chief, the Red Team Master Chief, had been in Afghanistan. And again, I hadn't seen any combat. I'd never killed anyone. But to see them, you could almost see it. And some of it can be a game. Some of it's not. And just to get the interview and just the we're not fucking around here. Yeah. This is not we're not making movies about this. This ain't a good time carrying boats and we all sing songs in the fucking water. This is professional. And by the way, if you make it through, which half the guys don't, we're probably sending you to war the next day. Yeah. I'm talking like you're going to need to come up with new shit because we're fighting people we've never thought of. Like one of those scariest fights I was ever in, I fought a redheaded Chechen on a mountain near Pakistan. What the fuck is this? Like that was around the time like we're losing guys now, and they're fighting the fucking Mujahideen. That they're fighting Al Qaeda, and if save one for yourself because you do not want to get captured. That's kind of when I went through, and it was new to all of us, as you know.
Yeah.
But But like, there's no doubt. Like, because even then, it's sort of like, okay, one platoon's going to go. Maybe we just started Iraq. The West Coast guys probably got that, but this one is you're fucking going, man.
Yeah,
you're going to war. No shit. And again, it's the excitement of war, but it's the realization like these dudes will fucking cut your nuts off and shove them in your mouth.
Yeah. What? So from that kind of mentality going through Green Team, I am curious. You know, there were a number of guys that I knew that went on, to Team 6, and I always kind of marvel at two things. One is that some guys that I didn't maybe have the highest opinion of in working with them at Team 3 made it, and other guys where I'm like, dude, that guy's a consummate fucking team guy, didn't make it.
Yeah,
that's the first thing, and then well, I'll let you address that first. I mean, is that luck? Is it politics? Is it fucking favoritism? Good old boy.
It's,
I mean, what?
It's some of it's good old boy, but some of it is just being able to be the gray man, which is hard to do because the instructors are like, there's 20 dudes in the rafters when you're starting CQB, and they're looking for the gray man. But I mean, it's kind of the old adage where it's like slow is smooth, smooth is fast is no bullshit. Because you get amped because it's not just being like, because as you know, Green Team is famous for CQB. That's where we fucking lose everybody. So if you kind of amp yourself up, and they want to see if you could fuck up and forget about it. That's important in life. Like I've had days on like I've seen dudes fuck up and I've seen them since until like now. Like they're just gone on a plane. I've had runs before where the first run of the day, crushing it, fuck up. By the third run of the day, they have me carrying a fucking broom, convincing me I'm not safe enough to carry a gun. The hedge, it's another one of those. I'm not sure what the fucking formula is here.
Yeah, it just keeps you guessing all the time.
I mean, if you're a solid fucking dude, you fuck up anything other than shooting the wrong target or just blasting one off.
Yeah,
they're gonna probably try to keep you around. They're gonna play the game. I know dudes that were solid as shit got like they're signing stupid LSA lack of situational chits every night. And it's just a more feed their head. But like this guy's gonna make it. If he doesn't kill one of you, he's gonna make it.
Yeah.
Good old boy, I wouldn't say, but more of I want to keep this place really, really good. And like I know this guy, he slightly fucked up for keeping him around them.
Yeah.
I know guys that were excellent, they hated, and then one fuck up, but they're gone.
Yeah.
I've seen that shit too. It blew my mind. So I don't know. There's no form. I don't think it's as structured as Bud's.
Yeah. I mean, I always marveled at that. The other thing that I noticed is that there were a number of guys, I would say most, that if I knew them fairly well before and they went there, the way that they carried themselves, interacted, and acted towards a vanilla non-tier 1 guy changed dramatically. And I always just wondered,
really?
Oh yeah, I mean a number of fucking guys.
I have never once in my life referred to a Navy SEAL as vanilla.
Dude,
that makes me want to fucking throat punch someone. That's one of the biggest fucking insults that you can. What the fuck is that shit? That's degrading, and that's like little dick thing. Like, oh, look at me, I'm a SEAL Team 6, and you're not. Fuck that bullshit.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm talking SEAL Team 6 being on a ship, and I would say you better respect the fucking guy doing scullery duty.
Yeah.
And you know how hard he's working for his country? A hell of a lot harder than you are.
Yeah.
Knock it off, you fuck. Oh, that pisses me off.
Yeah, no, I mean, we ran.
That's as mad as I've ever gotten about that.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear, I guess. But yeah, I mean, we ran into that shit all the time. But I just always wondered,
we talked about what makes guys want to do that. You think it would be a natural thing. I know guys that just as simple as, you know what, dude, I want to live in San Diego.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I know guys that, you can't say I know he would have made it, but you would have fucking made it. I know you would have.
Yeah.
Not saying you, but I'm saying I know guys and it's simple life decision. Like, you know what, I'm going to go to Florida and be an instructor, and I want to be with my family. I'm not going to the SEAL Team 6. That's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that bullshit about the vanilla teams and fuck that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, not just me. I mean, guys from our platoon, I mean, it was like we would have discussions about it, just like the fuck's wrong with those guys. Like we'd work with them somewhere or whatever, and they were just total arrogant pricks. But whatever. I mean,
that sucks.
Yeah.
No, I used to like to go back to Team 4 and even talk to the guys right out of Buds, because it had just changed to where they have their trident. Now they're, that's got to be, well, it at first had to be weird checking in with a trident on.
Yeah.
But I would like to go over there just not, obviously if some of my buddies there, I want to shoot the shit and we're going to go grab some beers, but just kind of, like I said, positive reinforcement. Look, we've been through Hell Week. We finished pool comp. If stop stressing out, get through CQB. If you want to come over, come over. If not, you're going to fight too, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, the last 20 years for sure. All right. So once you make it through Green Team and you're going into one of the squadrons. What was the biggest shift or biggest difference between being at Team 2/4 and now being at Team 6 that was just glaringly obvious right away?
Right away was the size, because the team room itself was one huge room with different stations. And when I first walked in to Red Team, there was 60 guys in there, all with beards. I just started growing because I just finished Green Team, all with beards. My troop chief came up to me, Al, and it's it's not like, hey, senior chief. I am Al. I'm your troop chief. This is Mike. He's the other troop chief. That's Scott, the mass chief. And then it's kind of like a fly on the wall. Like, I'm not going to, whatever. Honest to God, what impressed me the most was the fucking sense of humor in that room. Because you have that many team guys and they're almost trying to show off for the new guys.
Yeah.
Just awesome. And then naturally, we're going to go do house runs. And we did Green Team, and I thought I was good. We got into they're showing off. I got in there with Red Team, like one of the troops. And so we got a 4 or 5 story kill house, and they go in, and this is before combat clearance, and they're fucking gone.
Yeah.
Guys? Like, they're gone. Like, you can't no, I mean, they're just clearing.
Yeah.
And you can't even be one of those train hogs that, like, you got to catch up because they're just clearing the shit. And just the shots that were taken, the ability to, like, move without being told to move, the realization that I'm not going to shoot you, just don't be an idiot, just how fast they were. And then they're actually developing concepts as we go. Like, how about this? What if we do that? Like, I was there when they are coming up with combat clearance. Like, well, why are we running so fast? Fuck trying to beat them with speed. Put your nods down slow. We have night vision and lasers. Let's do that. I remember I came up with a tactic, not me. I mean, I came up with a group of guys. We were trying to do the deconfliction, coming back on each other because, parallel trains are dangerous. It's going to happen. And we're trying to figure out, okay, do you knock on a door? That's stupid because, do you put a chem light under the door? And what color? And you're not supposed to sweep your buddy. All that, like you see, I get yelled at on Instagram all the time. Trigger discipline. Don't sweep your buddy. The rule. I'm a believer in. Yeah, I didn't know everyone was a war hero until I got on Instagram. Yeah. But the rule I came up with, maybe I didn't, but we came up with right then was, how about this? Let's try this. Don't shoot someone who looks like you.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Oh, I pointed a little gun. I didn't pull the fucking trigger. You'll be fine. Like the whole thing from That's My Safety.
Yeah. Yeah. No shit.
Not quite that reckless, but just keep it simple. And stop yelling.
Yeah.
Stop yelling. If you go around a corner and point up, stop yelling stairwell at me. I'll assume it's a stairwell. You're pointing up. Shut up.
Yeah. So stealth was a bigger priority, or going from
stealth, just quiet. Even when you're done shooting.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah. I mean, that's good
I
advice.
never understood the Huts card either, because I've never come out of a room and like, now, did I just kill 2 guys in that room? Yes, I did. Yeah. I marked it. Grease pencil.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got 2 guys in there.
Can you explain the Huts card for those that have no idea what you're talking about?
The Huts card is like, what is it? Hostages, unknowns, terrorists, and then there's something else. And you're supposed to mark how many you got.
Yeah. Well, I think the S is SEALs for friendlies, right?
Oh, SEALs are friendlies. Yeah. Like, yeah. I know if one of my guys got shot, I'm going to know it.
Yeah.
If I just killed a guy in each room, I'm going to remember that.
They probably don't have to write it down. Yeah.
No. Have a map, and if you have room for that Huts card, carry some extra batteries or something.
Yeah. So you that was like 04, 05 when you got into the squadron?
Yeah, I got in the squadron in 04. My first deployment was around March of 05. So we went to Jalalabad, Afghanistan, which is, again, that's my first Afghan deployment. So I didn't know what to expect. And I'm one of the guys that thinks, there's going to be a suicide bomber around every corner. Yeah. So let's get it. I didn't know. Still, I've been through selection. I'd been deployed a lot before that. Didn't know, but it was the unknown.
How was that first deployment? Like, what was at the end of it, kind of what your takeaway from it was?
Well, the deployment was awesome because I learned what Hearts and Minds actually is. And that's not tea and cookies for the terrorists. It's spending money in the bazaar. It's being out in town, because we were in a safe house. So we bought a safe house, turned into a safe house, but then you hire locals because some people are just more loyal to money than they are to whatever. Hire locals, hire the plumber, interpreters, spend the money out in town, that kind of shit. And I learned glaringly that most people in a combat zone are just trying to get on with their lives.
Yeah.
There's there are people, especially in Afghanistan, that just because they're carrying an AK-47 doesn't mean they're a bad guy. they just have it, and it's a different culture. And I learned about that. I learned I learned that Afghans make the best rice in the world. Do not watch them make the bread, but do enjoy it because it's delicious. Oh God, don't
the foot bread.
And they'll the foot bread, the hairy hobbit foot bread, and then they'll cook the lamb under the like in a hole in the ground. And I kind of learned that we learned some technology. We did a little work. Unfortunately, that was also June of 2005, and I was there. I saw the guys from Turbine 33 right before they died.
Yeah.
And so that obviously just, I mean, that's just fucking, words again can't describe it.
Yeah.
And then we ended up on the mountain trying to walk to the crash site, walk to find Marcus. We were trying to find Marcus and Matt Axelson. That was the first time that I'd ever seen one of the, those cards we fill out with your picture and like your favorite color and shit. That was the first time that I saw Marcus Luttrell. I'm like, he's alive. We got to get in there. And so they wouldn't fly us in because Hilo got shot down. We were convinced they were surface to air missiles, not RPGs. I saw the guys actually, was it Turbine 3-4? So Turbine 3-3 got shot down, and I saw a couple guys from 3-4, and they were so shaken. They actually landed on the wrong part of town. There was a different base. They landed there, and the guys ran across town. And I ran into some of my buddies, and one of them said, "Yeah, it came out of the valley and it hooked, and they missed. It hit them, it missed us. One of them missed us, and they, you shoot a missile at a fucking 47." It's curtains. And so they wouldn't let us fly in. So we had to figure out how to get up there. We commandeered some vehicles. And that was, again, too, with the whole, I'm a tier 1 guy, so you're not worthy type shit. We grabbed everyone we could. We're looking for Rangers who all of them volunteered. Like, I need 5 of you guys. Fuck it. We're all coming. Just taking vehicles. We're going to drive up there. We got donkeys to carry our water. And we just hiked up. It's June of 2005 in Afghanistan, hotter than shit, humid as shit. You're walking basically in the scariest environment imaginable, trying to get to a site. And a lot of the war stuff, they did bring a lot of people in, but we're up there for we're awake for a few days. We got up to 10,000 feet, something like that. And we even had the conversation. This is why training is so hard, because if we're going to quit right now, where the fuck are we going to go?
Yeah,
we're just here.
Yeah,
that's it. And even did anybody call home before we hiked? There's pictures on the internet. We're sticking IVs in each other, hanging them from trees because heat exhaustion, heat stroke. And I asked some guys, "Hey, did any of you call home before we left on this little jaunt?" And they said, "No." Why? I'm like, "Well, great, because our wives haven't heard from us. All they know is a bunch of SEALs from Virginia Beach just died."
Yeah. Do you still?
So that's the mind fuck that went on there.
Yeah, no doubt. Are you still of the opinion that it was surface to air and not RPGs for?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, we were saying beforehand that there was some intel that there was surface to air missiles in the valley, the Korengal Valley, and the Sharia. I mean, that was intel. And again, it's one of those things where you whisper this, whisper that. It turns into a whole new story. I mean, they got shot down, they got hit. The guys off the first bird or the second bird told me that it was a missile.
Yeah. Did you guys end up getting to the crash site and?
No, we got very close, and that's when another troop because we were an outstation, Jalalabad. We had the guys from Asadabad with us, and we had Rangers, RRD, snipers, fucking amazing guys, Marines who just fucking. I love Marines. That's like, I tried to join the Marine Corps. I was happy on this day that I wasn't, because we're up to. I got short sleeves, like a chest harness, no body armor. Yeah. These dudes are kitted the fuck out, nut plates, shoulder plates, side. They're hoping too. Yeah. Helmets, like, fuck yeah, dude, hardcore. That's awesome. But the other troop they were up at Bagram at the time. They landed. They actually flew them in a day later when they cleared the airspace, and then they walked down to it. So we went, we're going to leave, and we did see some Taliban guys. We were able to call some fire from A-10s. First time I've ever seen an A-10 in person. That's bad to the fucking bone. That's where I'm pretty sure a Ranger came up with a saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except an A-10. An A-10 will fucking kill you.
Yeah, no, they're fucking badass.
Yeah, badass. And then we got down. We went up to Asadabad. So there's another safe house, nice one up there, and we're thinking about, okay, we got to get some sleep, and then we'll have some whiskey and then that's when the guy came in with the note, because the safe house was run with the CIA, and that dude brought the note in from Marcus, and there was a weird conversation about, this could be fake, that like he didn't cross the T's in his name, and we're like, yeah, but he got the social security number right, so it might be him.
Yeah.
And there was like an argument between some, I'm not trying to badmouth anybody, but a lot of people, they get so embedded in what they're doing, they don't want to lose their sources.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're walking this fucker right up there. He's going to show, because we showed this dude. Now, the valleys in Afghanistan, like if I tell people what they're like, they don't believe me. Like, you're making that up. No, they don't know how old they are. They don't know what time is.
Yeah.
They believe in dragons spitting jewels into the sky to light the sun every morning.
Yeah.
I'm serious. So we showed this village elder that walked the thing out. We showed him his village on an iPad or maybe a MacBook, whatever. And it was like we showed him the face of Allah himself. We're like, which house is yours?
Yeah.
Like this guy, he eats his pets. He's never seen a computer. So we told them that we're going to walk him. You're going to walk us to it. We had an argument. They're like, well, he's our source, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, fuck your source. This is why you have a source. We're going up there. So and here's how weird the valleys are. So they got shot down in the Korengal. Marcus made his way to the Shuriak, I think, which is whatever. I mean, this is scariest environment imaginable. And we went in, here's how back ass this place is. So we have to walk again. We're riding the shitty road. We're walking again. And I saw a little girl. I'm a father. And I gave her a plastic bottle of, it's actually kind of cold water. And she lives in a vat. Like, I don't know how they don't drink water. She opened the bottle of water and dumped it all out so she could play with the plastic.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So then we get up there and then, so I'm with some other dude. We've been awake for a couple of days at this point. Exhausting, but we like, and one of my guys sat down and he said, man, I don't know. I got to take a break. And I was like, okay, when we get home though, you will tell Marcus's mom that we were this close, but we couldn't get him because you got tired. Okay. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you're fucking right. And then, we're trying to just build each other up. And he stood up and I said, do me a favor. Tell me that exact same thing in about 5 steps. I fucking can't go any farther. Yeah. And so we get up on top. We're about ready to go down. Then some Rangers flew in. They did pull Marcus out. And then it's that thing where, okay, it's over. Now we're in the Shuriak Valley. Goddamn, I'm tired. So then we walked out, drove down, and then that was our version of. So I wasn't in the house to rescue Marcus, but it was just a coalition of everybody. And when push comes to shove, a lot of these people out there on our side are going to fight. I mean, other than the obvious horrific circumstances, it was great to see the coalitions come together like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot of different accounts on that, and just the entire process and series of events is pretty awe-inspiring, no doubt about it. I know we don't have a ton of time, so I want to.
No, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. I'm checking my calendar. I'm gonna hydrate a little. We got time.
All right. So throughout your time at Team 6, coming back from your first deployment and then going on subsequent ones, can you kind of walk us through the timeline of your time there before the big mish?
Yeah. So we got back from that one, and then I hate to use this term, but the show in town was Iraq. Mm-hmm. Not Afghanistan, because I mean, other than the obvious, we there wasn't a lot going on in Afghanistan, but Iraq was, and it was all over the news. Roadside bombs, people getting killed. Then we got our brothers from Delta had gotten hit a couple times. They lost a troop to either death or injury, so they said, well, we're gonna supplement them. We're gonna send a troop to Iraq, and that was us. So my second deployment was in Iraq, 2005, 2006. We went to Al-Assad, and that was new for me too, because it's again, suicide bombs everywhere. I learned, there are roadside bombs. People drive here though. It's this fucking sucks. And again, mad respect for infantry and for guys, men and women on the road. Just wondering, now are we gonna get hit now? Are we gonna get hit now? Do we get hit now? Where we had the option of fuck that, land us 5 clicks away, we'll walk in, type shit. And that's when we really got down the combat clearance type stuff, because instead of white light and running, we're going to slow down. That saved our lives. The first night I got a kill, there was 4 of us, to include a guy from the SBS, Andy, Special Boat Service, and he was a funny dude because he's a Brit, and he had this aura, this dark cloud of death that followed him around. Like even his buddies would say, if you're with Andy, you're going to get in a fight. Don't even pray for it. So we're in this damn hallway, and we just started doing combat clearance. We're walking in the hallway, and this dude pops out with an AK. He could have got all of us, but he couldn't see us. It's dark. And he went back in the room, and it's kind of a collective, holy. So then they enter the room, and one of my buddies blasts him, gets in a gunfight, and then it's his first kill. And he's kind of like, it takes a second. And he asks, he goes, because Andy's seen all kinds of death. He's been in weird gunfights. And he goes, Andy, how's that guy? And he walked over with a white light. And he goes, oh, he's fucked, mate. And he walks out. And then we went outside. A gunfight starts. Our snipers are engaging. It turned out to be we hit a hotbed of Al Qaeda. We actually did a cross pan. Me and another guy, one of the snipers from the Somali pirate rescue, Captain Phillips rescue, where we actually did our first cross pan. We're getting ready to wave, and 2 dudes popped up like pepper poppers, and we blasted them that way. And I'm like, holy shit, I just shot that guy. Because I just shot that guy. And it's like, well, cool. Now we should do one of those bounding things. What the fuck? So, and so we did Iraq, and then once the shooting started, the realization that okay, our tactics work. We're better than these dudes. You start to lose the fear, and then so we went back, and then another Afghan deployment. I want to say I was part of a strike force that went to Bagram. There was only like 12 of us. And we would go to outstations, try to find Al Qaeda targets there, which we did. The other troop went to Iraq, and then we went back to Iraq. So in 2007 we call it the deployment that never was, because they sent a small group of us to Iraq, and the rest went to Afghanistan because we had been authorized to fight Taliban now in Kandahar, and everybody wanted to do that. So nobody wanted to work for Delta Force, but my boss wanted to, and he said, if you guys don't mind. On paper, we work for Delta, but everyone's watching Afghanistan, and it's the Arab Spring, it's the awakening. And basically, General Stan McChrystal was sending JSOC forces on kill missions every night because he was convinced, the awakening, we get the Sunnis to realize we're going to help them, and when you need to hunt other Sunnis that are Al Qaeda, have at it. So we did that every night. We were killing people every single night. It was a crazy summer. Saw a lot of shit. We went to Bakuba, Iraq for 30 days where we didn't get to wash our clothes. Yeah. And that's hot. Yeah. We did not smell good. But, it's almost one of those things where, no one's been hit, so I don't want to jinx us. Like, wear the same socks and shit.
Yeah. Was there...
Well, I have a good dog story about that if you want to hear it.
Oh, fucking A. Let's hear it.
So there was a peninsula called Himbus, I think, and it's north of Baghdad. And no one had been in there. So we invaded in 2003. This is 2007. No one had been in there. Because it's a small peninsula, one way in. These guys are IED makers. They make roadside bombs. So we can't drive in. They're going to bomb us. We can't fast rope in. It's too small. And we can't bomb the shit out of it because there's so many people living around there. And like I was saying earlier, most people are just trying to get on with their lives. They're not combatants. So they're coming to us like, all right, you guys solve problems. What do you do? And everyone's kind of, well, it's going to suck, but we can swim. Again, Navy SEALs, but we can do it. And it wasn't a swim so much. It was like a swim swamp. Fuck this.
Wade.
Going to the peninsula. Oh, God, horrifying. Yeah. Like going under palm groves and there's rats and shit in the grapes. It's whatever. But we got in there, and it's turned into a fight at first. And then it got bigger and bigger. Like, we're running around. And we had 2 dogs with us. We had 2 Malinois with us. And we cleared 10 houses, and we killed all 19 of the terrorists, all of them. Didn't hurt a single woman or child, and then we left. So we swim the fuck, whatever. And now we have air assets above, because whoever comes to get the bodies and bury them, that's probably Al Qaeda also. So we'll get new target package. So, but the locals, the next day they wake up, and they're getting bullied by Al Qaeda all the time too. So they are noticing the bad guys are gone. So they started having a block party in this place. And the air assets, it gets so big that a reporter came up to see what was going on. Now, we had 2 dogs with us, about 17 SEALs, and they were interviewing the people in the houses that survived. And they said, who came last night? And the headline on the Baghdad newspaper said they were ninjas and they came with lions. I thought that was awesome.
That's fucking great. Did the mission, did the dogs get used?
Oh yeah. The dogs got used quite a bit on that deployment, because we were doing, like I said, we had Delta's assets, so we were doing a lot of inserts on little birds, getting on rooftops, and a lot of squirters, and we had dogs that fuck that guy, but that terrorist was one-on-one with Duco.
Yeah,
that's not going to go well without a handler there.
Oh, I know it. Is there a single dog story, or even a couple that stand out as like being the holy fuck, that's instant karma, or just justice, or really cool dog stories of any deployments?
The best dog story I have, I can't take credit for being there, but I saw the ISR footage, and it was a dog named Vader.
Oh, I remember him.
And it was blue team.
Just let me clarify. Everybody, I'm assuming most people should know that I was not at Dev Group, but that dog did training at a location where here in the States that I was at, but I'll leave it at that. But
no, it's all good. Whatever. That's all good. I think it was Blue Team that had Vader, and people need to know that after you do a mission, there's a 1-pager after action report, and it's like a picture of the building, action's on. Here's what happened, and at the end is this little block that's called Commander's Comments, and that's where the ground force commander puts his comments in there. So something like now we saw the footage, and as soon as they got there, there's suicide bombers coming out. So this is like big scary blast, and in the thrill, I guess, of the action, you hear explosions and gunfire. You can sort of tell where the gunfire's come from. I don't know if someone threw a grenade or that's a suicide bomber, but apparently Vader like jumped in a ditch and pulled this dude out that they blasted. And now he ran and climbed a tree and yanked a dude down or some crazy shit. And they kill him. And Vader's running, like he's grabbing dudes, and he ended up like in a river, yanked the dude out, and they killed him. Suicide bombers, no one was hurt. And all it said, and again, I wasn't there, so I hope I didn't abuse the story, but at the end in the commander's comments, all he put was Vader needs a cape.
That's fucking great.
So that's my favorite dog story.
Yeah.
We did a lot. I trained with a couple of Jimmy's dogs, Spike and Toby. It's not necessarily like Cairo. When he got shot, I was on that mission. If a Malinois gets hit with an AK-47 twice, he's going to die, but Cairo lived. But what I noticed about the dogs is they did all have their own personalities. Mm-hmm. Just amazing dog, smart dog, different personality. Like Cairo can sit with us, without his gear on. He can watch a movie, obviously put him down there, whatever. Cairo's cool. Toby ain't doing that shit. He'll bite you,
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but and some of the dogs straight up that like you get a good dog, they're trying, or a dog with mental issues, but like we can't bring him around anybody.
Yeah.
Like he's a kill dog and he's not a pet.
Yeah. No, I know it. They're as individual as we are.
They're so fucking cool though.
Yeah. A quick story on Vader is that one of my best friends, Shane, that owns SH9 Edgeworks, the knife company. I've had him on the show. He actually did some decoy work. I hired him and a couple of guys to do decoy work during a trip where, again, it was a stateside training trip, and Vader was one of the dogs that he caught, and he had very little experience in a bite suit. And so I lent him one of mine and gave him a gauntlet, a neoprene sleeve gauntlet. And Vader, 90-pound fucking Dutch Shepherd, bit all the way through the suit and the gauntlet and filleted Shane open. I remember he came to me.
Really?
He came up to me afterwards. He's like, dude, how the fuck do you do this shit like day in, day out? He's like, he just fucking, bit through the suit. I was like, no, he didn't. I was like, take it off, stop being a pussy. He pulls his sleeve off, and it bit all the way through it and filleted him fucking wide open. It was horrible. But
have you found that the Dutch Shepherds have a harder bite than a Malinois?
No. A common question is, which dogs bite the hardest, whatever. It's kind of like saying, how hard does a human being punch, or something as equally ambiguous as that. Dogs, I would say by and large, or typically, if they are bigger, they tend to bite harder, but not always. I've certainly the hardest biting dog I've ever caught who actually bit through a suit for me, and I'm still scarred up from it, was a dog here in Collin County. It's a Collin County Sheriff's dog. He's like a 63-pound pin-headed fucking Malinois that just, looked almost like a stray. And that motherfucker would absolutely wreck you in a suit. The live bites that
seriously?
he bit all the way through the suit and filleted me wide open. And, he had live bites where, he'd bite a guy in the back of the leg and peel every ounce of fucking meat off of somebody's leg all the way down to the bone. Everything, which I'm sure you've seen plenty of that too. But
I've seen that. That was in training, the scariest shit we ever heard yelled was real bite.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because those dogs are legit. That's what they do, and they're just incredible. I loved all of them. Just the personalities. I love that they were they love to work.
Yeah.
Like when we first started jumping the dogs, and we came up, and they've probably got better plans now, but the best way to do it was put them in the kit bag, zip it up, snap that, and the dogs, you can hear their tail wagging in the damn thing before you jump out of the C5.
That's fucking
C17,
great,
C130, whatever we're doing. Yeah, the dogs, and they had the little goggles. Love that. They just love to work, man. Dogs are like the most common saying that's true is we don't deserve dogs.
No, for sure. Yeah, we get the better end of the deal with them. No two ways about it.
No.
That's fucking great. All right, so you go back and forth between Iraq and Afghanistan. Was there one deployment that stood out as being the busiest that you were on?
That 2007 deployment with the dogs in Iraq was the busiest, just because it was because we had the latitude without the restrictions of rules of engagement. You know, as we all know, rules of engagement. If you want to lose a war, get lawyers and politicians involved.
Yeah.
But like, especially with us, the more latitude, the better we're going to be. We're not going to go out there and murder people, even though a lot of journalists love to try to release books about war crimes. But no, we don't kill innocent people, because I've seen it in action. We're the good guys. Just give us the room. But then it got to so 2007 was one of the best summers I've ever had in my life. I mean, we're hunting people every night. We got a kick-ass weight room. We don't have any TVs. You know, we get to stand around and sing to each other. Good chow, and that's it.
Yeah.
But then you get to the point at the end of it where, you know, you're taking fire from a cave and you try to call in support, and someone 500 miles away says, well, we're not saying there aren't women and children in there, or there are, but we just can't prove it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, all right, let's fucking be feet. We proved that, you know, last August. Let's suck. Let's lose again. Yeah. But the 2007 was great. And then I started getting into the spot where I was making rank and became a team leader. And then I got to run out stations, senior enlisted advisor for different places, kind of get more into the leadership role, and then get the younger guys up there that it was almost crazy, like these young studs through Green Team that I'm in charge of now, and then they're asking me advice on shit. It's like, wow, this is really cool. A little bit of pressure. We did Afghanistan a couple of times. I ran an outstation in Jalalabad. Was my actually. In between that too, we did. We rescued Captain Phillips. 2009, that was something too. Which, you know, we'd been selling that we could be anywhere in the world in 24 hours since 1980, but we'd never done it. SEAL Team 6 had never done it, and to get called on my birthday, Good Friday, April 10th, at my daughter's preschool for her tea party, and we found out Richard Phillips had been taken, and they're calling us to get him.
That's like right out of the movie Navy SEALs.
It was fucking sick. Yeah. We'd been selling it. We can be off the ground in a certain amount of time, and we'd done it in training, but we'd never done it. Like, here's the call. Now the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
And so everything from saying goodbye to your kid to stopping at 7-Eleven to get a log of Copenhagen's cash to getting there, and you watch the whole team was involved, and I'm talking the parachute riggers already had the birds or the boats loaded with the huge cargo chutes. The fucking truck drivers are putting the Seabees are putting the hitch on the truck. The truck drivers taking it to the thing. The aircraft's coming up. The bosses are up here planning every bag. Your fucking bags better be ready, because the bosses are upstairs planning now, and their shit better be in order. They better have everything they need in that bag, because I don't have time to go ask them. That's going on the truck. They come down. You know, we get to the thing. We're loading the planes. The riggers are there now with our parachutes and extra shit in case we decide we have to jump a tandem. Got to make sure there's tandem masters on the right plane. Who, if, when, whatever. Now we're on there. We're taxiing out of Oceana, and it's like we have. I don't want to say the amount of time to take off, but we're at plus 59 minutes, and the commanding officer is on there with SEAL Team 6, and he's just thinking, "Oh God, wheels up, please, wheels up," and it's like 58, 59 wheels up, and we just hit it.
Wow.
So then we're flying over. But see, we never thought of this, because with the Phillips rescue, since 1980, SEAL Team 6 had been planning everything from cruise ships, yachts, nukes, whatever. No one ever thought an orange lifeboat being towed by a destroyer.
Yeah, no shit.
And so we don't know what the fuck we're going to do. And we're not going there to necessarily kill them. We're going to try to rescue them, whatever is necessary. So we're asking everybody, come up with a plan, come up with a plan, come up with a plan. We'll talk about it. We'll write it down, best, whatever. And, we decided we're going to put snipers down just to watch them. There was never a 3, 2, 1 execute. It's just you watch them. But as we're flying over, we learned about training scars, little shit. Like, I was the lead jumper for that one. And I learned that all the training jumps I'd done, there were safety boats spinning in the ocean below me. I could see them. This time there was nothing. Wow. And I thought I thought we're lost. Yeah. But before that, one of the training scars is a C-17 has one shitter. Now, there's about 50 guys in each bird, one shitter each plane, and we're eating whatever. That thing fills up quick.
Yeah.
And then it's like, now what? So, we get good, team guys with Copenhagen, you got to shit. So guys are like shitting in MRE bags and taping it up, and then they're throwing that in a bigger bag. And then it's like, so we're kind of learning, okay, next engineers, we need more shitters on a bird for a 16-hour flight. But then we got this fucking, this bag full of human shit, and we're getting ready to jump. We're going to launch the boats, and we're going to do a racetrack. And then my job is to, I'm going to jump out and find them, hopefully. And so they launched the boats, and I'm looking at the air crew, and I said, hey, are you flying back to like DJ or Djibouti, or are you going back to the States? They go, yeah, we'll probably land in Africa. I'm like, are you flying that big bag of human waste with you? And the crew chief's like, yeah, we'll just take it back. And I go, well, why don't you just throw it into the Indian Ocean? And he literally goes, I don't want to hit one of your boats. And I said, I'll give you $10,000 if you can.
Jesus Christ. Did he try?
Yeah. But no, he didn't even do it. So then we get out there, and then I jumped out, and this is like, fuck Hollywood. It wasn't a night jump. We jump in the daytime. You don't need to do a night jump into the ocean, because if you lose a guy at night, he's gone. Yeah. So we jump out, and I couldn't see anything. Because I'm in this bird, I got to pick up these jumpers. We had about 100 canopies, and I couldn't see the boats. And I'm like, I got to pretend, like, telling them I can't see it's not going to do shit. I got to find out. I got to make them think I can see it. So like, I'm doing little turns and clicking my feet or whatever, and turn back. It turned out there was just a glare from the sun, and I did see the flat top, the USS Boxer, and we landed there. And then it was we learned again too. You have too many guys wanted to get on that jump, so these boats were full. I'm talking straight Haitian vacation, the people hanging off the side, and we pull up, and then now we're on the Boxer, and they put the snipers out, and that was like the end of my trip, because I thought the plan not me, but my team came up with was, these guys are not terrorists. They're criminals, and they want to, they're out of cot, the drug they take, and they're seasick, and they realize they fucked up. They want to go home. So give them a radio. We'll give the village elder a radio. Let them communicate, turn them around, let the sun go down, jam it, go up here, let them out. My team will be on the beach, and we'll negotiate, or whatever happens, but we're on land. So I was getting coffee in the chief's mess, right? And I got a text or something that said, we got him. And I was like, got who?
That's fucking crazy.
And they're like, we got him. And I'm like, well, I hope I can burn my lips and maybe get a Purple Heart for this one.
Dude,
but it was that simple. But what was cool about that, though, we talk about preparation. Those snipers were in their own beds in Virginia Beach 4 days before that.
Yeah.
And it was a long weekend. It was a long weekend, Easter weekend. We'd never done it.
Yeah, that's an amazing.
And their guns did not need to be sighted in for the most difficult shots of their life, but their guns were sighted in. Yeah. That's the preparation. So that was in between that. And then we did a lot of training trips coming up with different tactics and shit. And then I went over, my final deployment was to Afghanistan, running Jalalabad, and that's when I got to work with I see what the CIA does with their money. They've got a good budget, but they're really smart about taking care of themselves. Like they're going to make it comfortable, because they have a really hard job, and they work very hard. They really do. My only complaint is they do watch way too many movies about the CIA. Yeah. But like I was at this. They had I would love to see what the Taliban is doing to it right now. But they had it was like a European resort on the airfield, like it's a private place, and I'm talking like outdoor gyms, indoor gyms, a bar, like a stock bar, private rooms, excellent food every single day. Just a very, very, very cool place. Like, I was actually there. Again, talking back to Afghanistan, I was trying to run intel in and out, or whatever, trying to do shit we do. But they had closed down bases from the Pesh River Valley all around back to Asadabad was closed, and we're slowly withdrawing, which we're going to have to do anyway. But they sent us a picture and that's not as bad as it is now with dudes straight up rolling in our body armor. But there was a Taliban dude on a treadmill from Camp Blessing, which is deep in the Pesh River Valley. And they gave it to me because I had experience in Afghanistan. I'm like, what do you think of this? This guy, Taliban on a treadmill. I said, well, based on my experience, this guy is trying to figure out either how to eat it or fuck it.
Yeah, no shit. Like, what's he going to do with a fucking treadmill?
Yeah, he doesn't know. Yeah. So, so we finished that. And at this point, Bin Laden's a ghost. We're not going to find it. The best we can do, like, we did roll up a goo by the name of Abu Ikhlas al-Masri. My small team did there. And that, I mean, no one's heard of that motherfucker. And that's the biggest name Al-Qaeda had in Afghanistan. And we had no idea. And finished that deployment. It was fun. I played a lot of Halo, got really good at that shit. I'm not good enough at Xbox to beat Rangers. They're tier 1 at Xbox. Best of the best. But then we got back, and then we're just running more trips. And my trip, because we were big believers, I was a big believer in morale. Like, we just got done with the deployment, combat, we're back, see your kids and your wife and kids for 2 weeks, then we're going to start training. But the first training trip should be a good deal trip. We're going to work, but I want you to have fun. So, like, some guys went to Las Vegas, but they went rock climbing. Fair enough. They're climbing all day. They're in Vegas. We went to Miami, so we can do open water dives on currents, because like what we were considering was like the mothership for the Somalis. The people doing shit. How do we open water dive to one of those without an SCV? And we're in South Beach. Happy hour, morale, keep the team happy. And we're down there at the Courtyard Inn on the beach, and we're having cocktails with that. And it's a great time to be around, beautiful weather. And we got a call that, you and a couple of the guys, one of the team leader, troop commander guys, go back to Virginia Beach. And see, we were already excited because the commanding officer was going to come on that trip, but for some reason that we didn't know, he was called the DC. So we went back up to Virginia Beach, and like some of the guys from Marana and some of the guys from Vegas had been recalled. We're kind of looking at each other, and there's other guys there that were just there, and then they pulled us to a side room, and they wouldn't let everyone in, which was weird. And we had like 28 dudes, and they said, they sat us down and they said, all right, the reason you guys are here, because this is real and this is not a drill. We found a thing, and this thing is in a house, and this house is in a bowl, and this bowl is in a country, and you guys are going to go get this thing, and you're going to bring it out, and you're going to show it to us. And that's how it started.
What the fuck? Sounds like some shit, like how it would be described to a fucking kindergarten class.
Seriously. And we're like, well, okay, well, what's the thing? We can't tell you. Okay.
Did you guys know?
What country?
Not
at first. No.
So at first you had no fucking idea.
They didn't tell us how we're going to get there, where it was. And we assumed, because the Arab Spring had just started. So this is late March, early April, 2011. So the Arab Spring had just started up Tunisia, Egypt, now spilling over. We assumed they found Gaddafi. And they want us to get him, not even go kill him, but get him and maybe bring him back, and he can fill us in all kinds of secrets. And they don't want to tell us how we're getting there because it's Ospreys off a flat top. And they didn't have the best history at the time. That's that. And and we're like, okay, cool. So how's all going? Well, we're not bringing any Air Force because we're safe. We only have two aircraft, and we're saving the weight. And so the Air Force, the PJs are the best combat medics, and the CCT guys are the best communicators, but we're not bringing them because we're bringing just SEALs and an EOD guy. And so if you know how to use a radio, you might want to put a pouch on. You're the radio guy. Congratulations, you're the medic because you went to, you were an HM in the 90s. Do you know what the thought process with that was? Is that they wanted everybody so shit hot tactically that they didn't want to bring. I mean, not that those guys don't know what they're doing. No, it wasn't. No, they know what they're doing, but they wanted redundancy as far as everyone should be a breacher, a sniper, a comms guy. Like, everyone was experienced enough to have these quals that if we lost half, we could pick it up. I got you. And so we're trying to get our shit ready. And this is where it got really weird as far as team guys is other guys knew something was happening, and they would say, hey, seriously, what's going on? And I would say, I have no fucking idea. And they're like, come on, dude, you can tell us. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Yeah. And so we're doing shit, walking around all the shit, and then we're all day long. And then we get into Friday. They said, all right, here's the deal. Go home right now. Be with your kids, put them to sleep, have some drinks. Come back Sunday, and we're going to read you in. We're going to go somewhere, and we're going to read you in on what's happening. I'm like, cool. Who's going to be at the read-in? And they said, well, the vice president, the secretary of defense, the secretary of the Navy. It's like, the fuck? Yeah. And then they're going down the list, and they said, so-and-so, CTC pad, and the State Department, blah, blah, blah. They're going down the list, and I caught it. I didn't say anything out loud. But I went home, whatever. We came back in, and they put us in vans, 4 dudes per van. We're driving south, and my boss in the back, my buddy's driving, another buddy up front. And I said, CTC pad, if we're going to Libya, why would CTC pad be there? I said, that's a counterterror PAC Afghan desk. They found bin Laden. And my boss looked at me and he said, you know what? That's exactly what I was thinking. And there was no cheering, but the guy driving I'll never forget. He looked me in the mirror and he goes, "O'Neal, man, if we kill Osama bin Laden, I will suck your dick."
Did you call him out on
So,
that? Did you get a
well, what's
blowjob?
funny is I did 3 weeks of the day were standing over his body, and I said, "Now's as good a time as any." But that was, whatever. But when we got down there, and it was, they put us in a room, guards outside, and they said, the CEO came in and said, the reason you guys are here is this is as close as we've ever been to Osama bin Laden. And they brought in the team, especially the woman that found bin Laden, and she started telling us it was bin Laden. And it was, there was so much shit how smart she was. Kind of like, all right, stop. I trust you.
Yeah.
Where do we go? They had a site there. We trained on it all day, all night, just to come up with what contingencies we could think of. Because we came up with the perfect plan: fast up in front, let guys out, put our team on the rooftop. But what happens if this happens and this happens? We're just training all day. We fast rope so much. Like, I still have permanent like damage from holding a rope. Like,
Yeah.
it's I have really bad arthritis now. Yeah. And we're training, and then they had that 2-scale model that we talk about every night. And we're whatever. And one night, one of the bosses said, "Well, what's the worst thing that could happen?" And the youngest guy in the room said, "Well, the helicopter could crash in the front yard." I'm like, "What the fuck was that, dude? What? Why?"
Yeah.
We should talk about that. And so we did. And then we went out west to that's one of the things that you're not. So we'll just say it rhymes with Maria Mipti Mun. And so we're out there. They had a site, and now we're just sort of training on. It's like we're training on a site just to show the powers that be that here's our capabilities. And it was actually President Obama afterwards said, I was never convinced he was there, but I was convinced you guys could go in and find out and get out.
Yeah.
And so we made the call, and then we forward staged to Jalalabad, where there was already another team there, and just kudos to them. They were so fucking badass. I mean, imagine being deployed and another team comes in to do that mission. But they were totally hospitable. Love those dudes.
Which guys?
Which team?
Which? Oh, okay. So
they were deployed.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are curious about that as to the why.
Well, because there was a team back home that was on standby, but if they left to be training, something came up. So keep them local. If the team overseas stops working and is training, something's up. But we're supposed to be training. So if we go places, no one's going to notice, which is true.
Yeah.
That's why. And it's, whatever. And I'm the luckiest unlucky man in the world.
Yeah.
So we got picked, and then we went over there, and they were great. And we hung out. We did get the green light on a Friday. Because we had 48 hours of darkness. We chose to go on Sunday because of the correspondence dinner in Washington on Saturday, where if the president and the cabinet get up and leave, all the press is there, something's going on. That's how they were about it. And then we said, we're leaving Sunday. So we went to a brief, final brief. We're getting ready to leave. And Bill McRaven, Admiral McRaven came in, and he said, now we at this point, we don't need a pep talk.
Yeah.
And he said, so I watched my favorite movie last night, Hoosiers. And the best part of the movie is when the coach took a short dude, the shortest guy on the team, put him on the tallest dude's shoulders. Because the kids are looking around how big this arena is. They'd never seen it. He said, what's the measurement from the hoop to the floor? And he said, 10 feet, coach. And coach, what's the measurement? Something like that for the back of the room to the free throw line. And he said, 15 feet, coach. And he said, you'll find these are the same measurements as your gym in Old Hickory, only it's a bigger audience. And he said, you guys do this every night. It's just a bigger audience, something like that. And so we're leaving. And I remember saying, I said, Admiral McRaven, you're so fucking busy doing what you're doing. I doubt you watched Hoosiers last night, but you were fucking born to give that speech right now.
Yeah.
So
that was
really awesome. Cool. And it was so cool. He was there. The Sergeant Major Army guy was there. And, we had our last hugs around the fire, last smoke or dip. And then we went out, and then we got on the same buses that we always take. We got on the birds, and we left. And flying, and as flying from Jalalabad, as opposed to going straight up the river, we turned sort of to the right. And then the pilot came over and said, we're in Pakistan airspace.
Yeah.
So now it's like, fuck, man, we don't even know. These pilots have only known about these birds for like a week and a half.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know if this works. And we don't know if like Johnny High Speed's on the anti-aircraft ship looking this way over the Pakistan border. We don't know.
Yeah.
So you get shot down. But now it's like, well, worrying about it's not going to help. it's not going to stop the missile. So stop worrying. And that's advice for life. If you're worrying about shit that you can't affect, stop wasting your energy. Stop worrying. It's not going to help.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And so I'm looking around and like, I'm trying to see how dudes are handling this. One dude has his earbuds in and he's asleep. And I'm thinking, this dude is asleep, literally on the ride to Osama bin Laden's house. And my weird mind was like, ice in your veins, and I see why women find you attractive. Fucking awesome. And I'm on a chair. Cairo's right here. Cheese is right there. And it's like, here we go. Let's live for 90 minutes so we can get in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious. Obviously the speech had its impact, and at that point, everybody on that infiltration ride has a fuck ton of experience, a ton of training.
Yeah,
A game as much as an A game can be had, but there had to have still been a level of nerves because of who it was and what you were doing and the gravity of it that affected you guys.
Well, the thought process was that, I mean, we didn't say suicide mission, but we said this is a one-way mission, and we need to get comfortable with that because we're going to get shot down. There's going to be a fight, and if anyone's going to blow himself up, it's Bin Laden when we're in the house. Here was the. I mean, it just happened recently in Syria with that leader of ISIS, and that's scary. They lost a bird. Third floor blew up. Like that happens. The scariest part was we're going to run out of fuel, and we're going to be stuck in Pakistan.
Yeah,
and we're not at war with these guys. But we could, either going to fight to the death with them, or I'm going to end up in a Pakistani prison as a white guy. It's like, shit ain't fucking cool, man. Because we don't, a lot of people don't know that when you're going on long range missions, there are forward operating bases where you can fuel and shit.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. That's why we couldn't take so many people, because they needed the poundage of weight of gas to the point where we might just have to ditch these fucking things and run across the mountains. Who knows?
Yeah.
But then again, we talked about the woman that jumped from the North Tower. We talked about the people that fought on Flight 93.
Yeah.
And they weren't supposed to fight. We're supposed to fight. We're fucking doing it.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I'm sitting on a little camping chair, counting. I counted from a 0 to 1,000, 1,000 to 0, trying to get through, we're going, but we've been on missions before and we accepted it. So it wasn't like fear, but it's like, when it hit me was when we banked to the south, we're 10 minutes out, 80 minutes in. And I was counting, but then out of nowhere, and I don't remember how I don't know how I remembered the words, but I have a tattoo. It was so impactful to me. I said, freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended. Yeah, and that's awesome. What George Bush said on 9/11.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fuck counting. I'm going to say that again. And that's when it sort of hit me. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is it. I'm on this mission. We're going to kill him.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've told that story a million times. There's the book that, I don't that, and I know we're short on time, but, so you guys do the mission, and, I am curious afterwards, and
that's a good part too. And I'm at the point too, the fucking team, we killed them, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happened inside. We fucking killed them. Awesome. The cool thing is how we got out, because the helicopter pilot saved everyone's life by crash landing. He didn't crash. He crash landed. EOD and one of our breachers blew it up. And then another team had to come get us. And this wasn't a stealth bird. This is a Chinook. SEAL Team 6 is now rescuing SEAL Team 6. And we get on a bird and we're leaving. And that's when it got interesting, because now they know we're here. And they have F-16s that we sold them. And an F-16 against a Chinook is not a good thing. So we're just leaving. And I'm sitting next to the sniper from the mission that rescued Captain Phillips. I got a dude from Blue Team here that's from New York, and he's like the whole New York thing. It's like, holy shit, fuck yeah, on behalf of my family type shit. We can get shot down though, but worrying about it's not going to help. And a lot of people don't get credit. The fucking aircrew guys put their butts in those seats. They're going to be just as dead as we are. Yeah. They're all fucking heroes, but we can't worry about it. So I started my watch. It's 90 minutes. If we can live for 90 minutes and cross that border, we have F-15s there. We're good. We got to see our kids again. But worrying about that jet's not going to help. So we're just watching it. And no one's saying
90 minutes of your life.
Oh, yeah. 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes. And you're kind of looking around like you're watching a no-hitter at the top of the 7th at Yankee Stadium. Like, I'm not saying anything. Don't want to jinx it, but it's 60 minutes, 70. Yeah. And now it's 80 minutes. And I do love the sports analogies. So we're 80 minutes. And it's like Miracle on Ice when the Team USA, that young hockey team, is beating the Russians, the best team in the world, they're not supposed to win this game, but they're winning 4-3.
Yeah.
And you can hear them counting down 10, 9, 8. And it's like people are nervous. And then all of a sudden, 85 minutes into a 90-minute flight, the pilot, who was obviously hauling ass, came over in that pilot voice. He said, "All right, gentlemen, for the first time in your lives, you're going to be happy to hear this. Welcome to Afghanistan."
Oh, shit. Man, 5 minutes early.
That was cool. Yeah. Apparently, Chinooks can fly very, very fast when you want them to.
Yeah, maybe a good tailwind. Where was Bin Laden's body at that point?
He was in the other bird. So for some reason, the first bird that crash landed went into ours, and they were going to leave and refuel with another Chinook, and the Chinooks would come get us. So we split. The body went in that one, and we took some DNA in this one, and we kind of split it up.
Yeah.
And that was also a little nerve-wracking because we still had a half team on a bird, and then when we landed, though, they landed, and we're like, damn, nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
And then we pulled Bin Laden's body out. We Admiral McCraven came over. I'll never forget that. Like I remember he kind of put his hand on my shoulder like a proud father almost. And we're looking at Bin Laden. We're still not, we're making sure it's him. And the tallest guy we had was one of our snipers. He laid him down next to him, and the sniper was about 6'2". And I guess McCraven was talking to the White House and said, "Yeah, well, we laid one of the snipers down, and he's 2 inches shorter." So and I guess President Obama said, "So let me get this straight. You can destroy $100 million aircraft, but you can't afford a 99-cent tape measure." And actually, a cool story about that was afterwards when Admiral McCraven was retiring, President Obama had one of his guys hand deliver him a plaque with his, goodbye, President, but there was the tape measure on the plaque.
That's fucking great. God, that's awesome. That's a cool inside joke.
It was something.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. We're to wrap that kind of from a closure standpoint. I know there's always the conspiracy theories, what have you, but
of course there is.
Were you you weren't on the ship that he supposedly was? No,
I wasn't. And again, if you would have asked me in 2012,
that there would be
100%. We turned it over to the Army. The Army flew it to the ship, threw it off the ship. Now, if they told me he was in a Han Solo carbonite thing at the CIA, I wouldn't put it past the government.
Yeah, no shit.
So I mean, I can assure you he's dead, and there are pictures.
Yeah. No, I know.
They're in a damn like a file cabinet. Like like nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
I think the CIA even tricked us, and they kept his gun and gave us a different gun.
Yeah,
saying it was his.
Yeah, no shit. Did you manage to? Maybe you can't say it or won't lift anything just not valuable, but just off of the target site that you have as a.
The only stuff that I grabbed were stuff that we might need for SSE.
Yeah.
And they were pretty good. They were pretty good about making sure we were clean when we got done. And looking back, like I wanted to live. I didn't give a fuck about souvenirs. I mean, looking back, it's like shit. If I knew what an NFT was, man, that would have been a kick-ass NFT. But it was, and then like even some of like the opium, it's like, if I ditch this med kit, I can put the opium.
No shit. That's a trip, man. All right, before we wrap up here, I do want to talk about Ukraine. Just because it's such a hotbed right now, and I know everybody's going to bitch if we don't, deservedly so. So what is your take on what's going on, especially having been there, having trained with some of them, knowing I think collectively the United States, from a society standpoint, has become history experts as it relates to Eastern Bloc Europe over the last week or so, and I'm just curious to get your take on it and what your thoughts are.
Well, I mean, my initial take is this is what tyrants do when somebody shows weakness. And I don't just mean the Biden administration, but that is a big part of it. But it's also someone like Macron. It's someone like the Canadian Prime Minister. What the hell's his name again?
Justin Trudeau.
Justin Trudeau, who's the ultimate beta male. Yeah. It's people like Germany that, we'll just get all of our oil from Russia. We can shut down the Keystone Pipeline instead of using that to fuel what Europe needs. We'll just get all our oil. We get oil from Russia too. And, we're going to shut it down. Proof that if you make climate change your number one concern for defense, you're ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so all this is Vladimir Putin, if you know him, he's always wanted to crush the dollar, which he's doing. But he's always wanted to take the Soviet Union back. He's been really pissed off since the Soviet Union fell.
Yeah.
And he's also at the age now too, where he kind of realized he's going to die eventually, and he wants to be up there with Lenin.
Yeah.
He wants to be up there with Nikita Khrushchev. And he's already basically threatening nuclear war, which is really scary.
Yeah.
When you get, and everything, there's everything from the oil, from the land grabs to the money that a lot of people are making. There's a lot of people that want war because it's big business, and a lot of people that are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So right now, Ukraine, I mean, the people there, God bless them. And I mean, I can't imagine what they're going through. Imagine defending your own home. Imagine handing out guns to people who've never used them to fight the infantry coming in and the armor coming in. It's horrifying. The sad truth is, though, they're not part of NATO. They probably want to be, but I mean, this is the whole thing with like people like Germany and France laughing at us because they don't pay. Well, France might, but Germany doesn't pay 2% GDP to NATO when they should. That's the whole reason we started. They started that damn war in World War II. Yeah. But now it's kind of like, hey, Europe, deal with it. Now, if they attack, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, who do pay their fair share, by the way. God help us all.
I mean, I guess
because NATO's.
Yeah, I mean, from a NATO or not, I guess I'm curious as to your take, especially with your experience, having lost brothers. I mean, we both have. We both know some of the best men that we've ever known, that ever will be, that are not here anymore from fighting in two places that you've been. Irrespective of all of the politics, NATO, not fucking nukes or not, blah, 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 justified or not, is that, do you think we should have any boots on the ground involvement to defend them?
Right now, no.
Is there a red line where, yes, you would say no at this time?
There is, because you got to figure. No, I mean, again, my heart goes out to them. But this is not our fight.
Yeah.
And you got to look at the bigger picture other than the 24-hour news cycle. This is all part of the big scheme for China to move on Taiwan. And I mean, like it or not, Taiwan is a bigger concern for us. Our first concern should be our southern border.
Agreed.
Because it's not just migrants trying to work here. We have Al-Qaeda coming through. And, no one gave a shit about Ukraine until all of a sudden people are fighting. And now it's 24-hour news cycle. The lobbyists, both sides of the aisle, because there's a lot of money in that. Send over body armor, send over missiles. That's a lot of money. And these assholes that get the $100 million contracts, they're making bank off this. War's big business. Yeah. Keep in mind, the only president in recent memory to not start a war was the only billionaire to get in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
He didn't need the money. I mean, Nancy Pelosi running for a 19th term. She's making 100 and something $1,000 a year. Some way she's worth $150 million.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
the 24-hour news cycle, Ukraine. Wait until the suicide bombers hit an elementary school in Arizona.
Yeah. It's
like, oh, why weren't our borders sealed? Because we're fucking idiots. That's why. I mean, even like we talked about at the beginning, look at some of these students. Hey, how's communism now? Wait, God forbid a nuke gets dropped. Oh, hey, what would Che Guevara say?
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think if that's not a big enough kick in the nuts or slap in the face to make people wake up and understand the grim reality of weakness and what you project as a nation over time, the impact that has on a lot of other things, I don't know what does, other than that shit actually happening here. To me, what worries me the most is the cyber aspect. Is that because it's so quick and so vastly reaching, is that to me it's almost like an instantaneous nuke, hand over hand baseball bat kind of game of it only takes one side to start fucking with the other for it now to end up basically we're in a nuclear war with them because of it. Because of, goddamn good and well that if it comes to that, then they're gonna attack critical infrastructure type things, not just things that are a pain in the ass, shutting Facebook down or YouTube or whatever. And as soon as they do that, I mean, we have no choice but to do something about it. And at that point, I mean, I worry about what those fucking next steps are, and I think it could happen fast.
Imagine, okay, take the chaos and panic from a lack of toilet paper.
Yeah,
that happened. Can you imagine if everything just got turned off?
Well, yeah.
So now you got nothing. I mean, we have people graduating from high school now that don't know how to tell time on a clock and can't write in cursive. Yeah. I doubt they can handle map and compass.
Yeah,
like this is, and I'm talking straight up primal. I mean, I'm not doing worst case scenario, but we thought there's no way in hell. Some of those movies where they locked everyone down, there was riots going on. That could never happen here. Well, it fucking did.
Yeah. Well, that, and I mean, imagine a scenario which, especially with what's happening right now, is not out of the realm of possibility. Is that tomorrow morning you wake up and there's no power, there's no water, there's no internet, right? There's no satellite assisted anything, and the U.S. dollar is worth basically zero. Like I can tell you, like 80% of the population isn't going to make it 2 weeks, and that's
no, I agree.
And that's not a a wild scenario right this second, you know. So I mean,
cyber stuff's scary because you get some of those. I mean, the good news is we have great hackers on our side.
yeah,
But we've seen it before where they shut a little bit of our infrastructure down, and we're screwed.
Yeah.
I mean, people can't survive without fuel. We had people that couldn't get up I-95 because of snow.
I know it.
You shitting me?
Yeah,
I
it's
doubt
crazy.
they can gut an animal.
Yeah. So President O'Neill, what would you do?
I would first tell people, just like myself, I am not afraid to eat people. So that's well, I
Eat your
mean, what I
neighbor.
would do right now is it's going to take 2 years, but you got to kickstart the pipelines. Realize that, like it or not, no matter how green your ship is or whatever the gender is on your bathroom, you need power to fight these people that don't give a shit about this nonsense. Stop making decisions based on emotion. Be realistic. Deterrence, alliance, solidarity, and hold fuckers accountable. Just shitty as it is, you have to do that. And it's not so much the nuclear aspect. I despise that. It's one of those things that you wish they could disinvent. But you need to attack Putin's banks personally, shut him down, get him out of everything, crush the ruble, get our shit running, and someone go smack Germany around. Pull your head out of your ass.
Yeah. Do you think that I guess from his kind of threat of if you try to interfere and him being vague enough with that, to try to deter people of saying you'll basically the way I took that is unless you're Japan, you're going to see some consequences that your country has never seen before. I mean, I think we can all read between the lines as far as what he meant by that. But to me, where the tricky part is what constitutes interference, and not kowtowing or being submissive to that. But if you shut his bank accounts down, is he going to be that rat trapped in a corner that decides, well, fuck it, let's unleash some things then, and so it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, I guess from a tactic standpoint, you'd still go after him that way, and I'm not saying not. I'm just curious.
Well, not with the nuke aspect. I would never want to. But again, that's a deterrent. We're the only country that's used nukes. We do have them out there, and not just the land-based, subs and ships and all that stuff. But I mean, just think how scary it is with the hypersonic missiles they're testing. They're doing that for a reason. They're showing us what they have. And I think that the stark realization, he's bitten off a lot more than he thought.
Yeah.
And rat trapped in a corner, who knows? But yeah, I mean, you're not going to win this through. Here's the red line. Okay, here's the new red line. How about no? You need to win it with force. And that's it. And realism. Be realistic. Sorry that I'm a dick, or sorry that I send mean tweets.
Yeah. I honestly,
get over yourself.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I use the analogy of, say, a brain surgeon. Like, I don't have to like him. If you walk in, you've got stage 4 brain cancer, and there's one guy that can operate on it on the planet, that can do it. You walk in and he's a total asshole, and you say, well, I don't want him. I don't like him. Like, I mean, to me, that's kind of the equivalent of what we're seeing right now. But, but I think that, the things that are transpiring right now within Russia with corporations, the soccer tournament pulling out, to me, that's honestly probably the most effective way is that if he loses almost all of his support at home, I think that's going to be his biggest kick in the nuts. And frankly,
well, because again, he's in it for his legacy. He loves the legacy idea. He loves Mother Russia.
Yeah,
and if he goes down as a tyrant, I mean, getting compared. I mean, not that it's uncommon, but no shit getting compared to Hitler for doing actual Hitler type stuff. Yeah, that's got to hurt him. I mean, because he's at the point now where the Russian soldiers are starting to realize they've been lied to by Putin, because he told them, well, they attacked us and now we're defending Russia. No, you're not. Yeah. But they're realizing that. And the whole thing with social media, I mean, it's scary that we're seeing this at a new angle. Like, that's some mom on her second floor with an iPhone watching missiles.
Fucking crazy shit,
man.
Yeah, crazy.
I don't wish on anybody. And again, to reiterate, I would love it if we could defend Ukraine. But I mean, this is one thing going on right now. Yeah. I wish them well, and I hope Europe helps them. But getting boots on the ground there, it's a no-go for me.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Well, I'll tell you, man, you and I could talk for 10 hours a week, I think, honestly. Like, I could have you on the show once a week. Maybe we ought to do that. But I know you got to go. I got to get going.
You got to plug the book.
Well, so tell me about the book.
The book. Oh, my tomahawk just fell down. How about that shit? That's another story.
Yeah.
The Way Forward is coming out March 1st.
March 1st.
Or it will be out, depending.
And so
you Dakota Meyer and myself. So Medal of Honor recipient Dakota Meyer and I wrote a book about it's kind of a book about what do you do now? Like, the whole thing being prepared because life happens around you. He's a dude from Kentucky that raised chickens and was a male cheerleader, and then he gets a Medal of Honor for his, killing a guy physically with a rock in the Ganjabel Valley. The guy from Montana who got dumped by a chick in Bin Laden's bedroom we've all been somewhere. We're all cut from the same cloth. Now what do we do? And so it's a good book. There's some funny stories like about my brother smoking weed. There's a hunting story in there that it blows my mind. I was in tears when we wrote it. But it's just a book about being normal, like guys that just get it. It's a really cool book. Great stories you haven't heard. Yeah, it's out soon. It's out now. You can pre-order it now. It's Barnes and Noble, or sorry, not Barnes and Noble, but HarperCollins and The Way Forward. You can pre-order it, or you can order it. No. And if you're gonna have a buddy read it, don't give him yours. Buy it again.
Yeah. What is there a singular message that you want people to take from it?
That's just it. That you can do anything you want as long as you keep your mind into it. It's not one day at a time. It's one meal at a time. And my two favorite pieces of advice are for young. Well, I use this as a frame of being a man. Is if you're young, ask her out. Just ask her out. Yeah. Stop being afraid. And if you're
or him, Rob,
yeah, or whatever. Hey, whoever. And also, whatever it is, learn from it and get over it.
Yeah.
But you're gonna, as long as you present yourself wherever you are, just be there. Yeah. And you can make good shit happen, and good shit can happen, and you can. What is the thing? I tripped over my dick, but I fell into $1 million.
Is there one aspect about the book or out of the book that would surprise most people that they wouldn't expect that's in there?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't want to get into too many of the stories, but just how much alike we all are. Yeah. And I said it before, but one of the sayings I came up when we were writing this is it's a big planet, but it's a small world.
Yeah.
What I get out of it too is like Dakota talks I don't want to ruin his part, but I learned so much from a person that I killed, where years on you kind of wonder but we both knew we were right.
Yeah. Nobody thinks they're the bad guy.
Neither one of us are the bad guy. And we're only fighting each other right now because we were born in different places. But had we met earlier, would we have gotten along like in a coffee shop?
Yeah.
So
that's some shit that mess with your mind, no doubt.
There's a human element. So that's what you take away from it. And plus, it's just a fun book. This one's very funny.
Yeah. How did you guys write it together that way? Like, how does that process work?
Well, you kind of just get together. It started in an office in Washington, D.C., and you start talking back and forth, like get up and pacing and telling different stories and taking notes of what. I mean, we say at the like people will know what part's yours and which part's Dakota's. I'm like, well, he was a Marine, so his part was written a lot slower
and in crayon.
Yeah, I was like, you can see corrections on his laptop in crayon. Like, no.
That's fucking great. That's cool. Awesome. Yeah, go. Yeah, March 1st, you said?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'd love to get you in the studio. I'd love to have you back on a regular basis.
Yeah, we're going to do that eventually. We've been saying we're going to do that for a long time, but we're going to do it. For sure.
I'd love to get the two of you sitting on the fucking Oprah couch and maybe do some.
That's a good idea. Yeah, you know what? We'll do that. We'll do that.
Awesome.
I'll call him.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I can't thank you enough for sharing the time.
Thanks,
Mic Drop supporters and watchers, viewers of the channel. I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it's taken me so long to get together and collab with Rob to get him on here, but it's been hard for both of us. But at any rate, we'll keep an eye on the news. We're going to get this episode out as quick as we can, given how fast things are changing. But But definitely, thank you for your story. Thank you for your service. You're a fucking hero in my book, and I can't thank you enough for coming on. Everybody, go pick The Way Forward up March 1st on any book outlet, and appreciate you coming on, my man.
Well, I appreciate it, man. We'll do this again. Good seeing you. I'm glad we finally did this. You were a hero to me as well.
Oh, come on now.
Oh yeah. Well, that's one of Dakota's things too. He made a shirt that says Dakota Meyer's my hero. That's a new thing.
That's fucking great. I got to get one of those.
Yes. Okay.
Right. Awesome, man. Thank you. And until next time, this is Mic Drop.